What is up, Mr. Primetime? We are live stream, our first one for Let's Talk Jets Radio. What's up, man?
Let's hope this isn't a complete shit show, but we'll see what happens, man. Cheers to football being back.
Yeah, man. Let's Talk Jets Radio, at Talk Jets Radio, Instagram and Twitter. If you're on YouTube checking this out here, please subscribe if you're not already. We're on Spreaker, SoundCloud, Google Play, iTunes, everything else. Primetime, we made it, man. Week 1, Jets Bills, after months and months of really boring talk about things we don't know anything about because we can't see anything. Are you glad we're finally here?
Yeah, man. It's always nice to get to this point in the season where you're actually talking about real football news, especially this offseason with everything that's been going on. I can't remember an offseason more excruciating than this, especially when you compound like the injury news that we've had and everything else. So I'm just excited to, finally have some real news to talk about.
Yeah, so everybody watching, we can see all your comments. You want to ask any cool questions, we like your question. We'll put it on the screen. So, for example, we got Todd here saying, howdy. What's up, Todd?
How you doing,
we
Todd?
got big Game James. What's up, man? So we can do all these. So
we're official now, man.
Yeah, dude, we're getting almost too much technology for us, to be honest with you. But Primetime, the biggest thing, I guess, going into this game, and we've been talking about it for the last 2 weeks, is injuries. And finally, the official injury report came out today. And some not so good news for the New York Jets, starting with Denzel Mims, which kind of came out of nowhere because initially he was on his way back. Like, oh, he's healthy. He came back practicing after missing a long period of time. Now it's both hamstrings. And Gase even talked about possibly injury reserve, which is 3 more weeks. It's suddenly becoming a lost season for him, man.
Yep. And everyone was saying, we were being too negative about this, but those hamstring injuries, we've seen it time and time again where they can linger sometimes. It looked like they were handling it the right way. They got him back on the field for a day, and then now it's both hamstrings plural. And like you said, Gase was talking about the IR today, and for a rookie wideout that you took in the second round, especially when you didn't really add a whole lot as far as veterans go, this was going to be a really nice opportunity for him to, be a focal point in the offense. And, like you said, it's going to be a lost year, it looks like, unless you can get him back out there around week 6, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, now you're looking at the only positive. You had to take a positive out of this because we've been negative the last couple of weeks getting ripped for it, is in theory the Jets have 3 veteran wide receivers. You have Perryman, you have Crowder, you have Hogan. So you have that mix, but they don't have much depth, dude. And that's the problem. So you're like, who do you bring up in the practice squad? Cager was banged up. Moncrief's on IR, practice squad IR, whatever the hell that is. So the wide receiver position is not ideal. But you say, okay, well, how do you offset that? And it's pretty obvious, dude. The tight end.
Yep.
So it's like we've talked about it. It's Crowder. Crowder in the slot. You put Le'Veon Bell as a wide receiver, and then you feature Chris Herndon, and you feature Ryan Griffin, and you work the middle of the field and try to take mismatches with your tight ends.
Yep, I would have 2 tight ends on the field all day because this has to be a ground and pound effort through Le'Veon Bell if we want to win this. We're not winning, featuring Chris Hogan or even Lawrence Cager. Like, I like the guy. I think he's a nice long-term project and he could have a role in this offense. But for week 1, I don't know about that. So, yeah, you got to feature the tight ends. I would get Herndon in there. I'd have Griffin in there. I'd even work in Trayvon Wesco as well. So get all those guys acclimated and just feature the offense through Bell. Crowder, he had 22 catches in 2 games last year against Buffalo. I think he could be a nice option to get involved as well. So you got to work with what you have.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you really can do, man. And what's up to everybody? You got Matt, Steve, our good friend Steve's already given us predictions 5 minutes into the show. He can't even wait 5 minutes for that. And the one thing we actually talk about as well is Alex Lewis, surprisingly, all of a sudden on the injury report too. He's limited in practice. He's a tough dude, but the offensive line is going to be the key to game, man. And the one thing we don't really talk about a lot was, yes, this is Becton's first game, a rookie starting at left tackle. Not having crowd noise actually helps the Jets here, man, because he wants to hear the line calls, all these things. He's going to be swimming a little bit. He's going to be excited. He's going to be, all these different things going on. Not having crowd noise actually helps the Jets and Becton especially.
No, absolutely. But like you just mentioned with Alex Lewis, you hope that he's going to be out there because that's the guy that's right next to him. He's a veteran. He's been a part of this offense before. He knows Gase. He knows the calls. That's somebody that can really help him out. And, this injury news kind of came out of nowhere today with the shoulder injury. But you have that, and you also have Marcus May as well. I think that one's going to be a major blow if he's not out there. So this injury report today, just not so good news.
Yeah, and then you look at, just going back to the crowd noise, it helps with Becton. It also helps with McGovern because this is McGovern's first game with Sam Darnold, with the line calls, trying to get them in sync as fast as possible. Because you keep in mind, man, they had no preseason. So they haven't really worked out any of the kinks other than doing it in practice. But these are against guys like they're known in front of you. You know what their tendencies are. You can kind of guess things like that. The Bills are going to try to change all kinds of stuff up. Not having crowd noise definitely helps there as well. But then just the continuity of the line as a whole is interesting. And what we've been talking about for weeks is simplify it, make everything simple, ground and pound, maul them, jumbo packages, 2 tight ends, do all that. to get everybody comfortable. Like offset the early swoon. You know what I mean? Like don't fall behind 10-0 right off the bat. Like try to get adapt and then maybe open playbook second quarter, third quarter, and so on.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's expecting too much out of this offensive line or putting expectations too high for week 1 and week 2. I think we all realize what the Jets are up against without a preseason, without a chance to really, gel and develop that continuity. It's going to be a struggle the first 2 weeks. I think we all realize that. So it is on Adam Gase to offset some of that, work the tight ends in and, just ground and pound. I mean, it's got to be a simple game plan. Otherwise, Buffalo's going to really shut us down because, again, they're returning almost all their starters on defense. So if you think, it's not, dude. I'm trying to find ways to be positive here, but it's going to be tough, dude.
I mean, I agree with Drake, Bell, Crowder, Herndon, use the run game and play action pass. That's your remedy, dude. Like the plan on offense isn't going to be complicated, man, because it's pretty obvious what you got to do. You got to just try to make sure your offensive line can protect Sam, be able to establish the run. If they can find a way to run the ball consistently and get Le'Veon Bell going, that changes everything because then you can make plays in the passing game. You've been saying for a while now, pass the ball to open up the run, use the intermediate passing game to Crowder, do all you can do that as well, but you got to get Bell going, dude. And dude, I'll keep saying it, screen passes, line up as a slot receiver, find ways to just get him rolling, and the team will feed off his energy, man. Because now you think about it, Perine's out. So you have Bell, Gore, they probably bring up Josh Adams. So for us, I'm happy because we'll probably see a lot of Bell, which is a good thing.
See a lot more.
Oh, could you imagine? Don't get me started. We're 6 minutes in, you're going to start this?
You were the one who was telling me all offseason we're going to see a ton of Gore. So now the opportunity's there. No Perine.
Yeah, I mean, here we go. Here's Steven Alvarez. What do you got? He's working with what you have. 2 TE packages with Crowder in the slot. Yep. Completely agree with you, man.
Yep. No, that's really their only option because to expect Chris Hogan on the outside to do a whole lot, or even Perriman. Like, I like Perriman's speed. I think him and Darnold can develop some chemistry as the year goes on, but you didn't have a real training camp. How many practices did he have? So, I mean, he just got out there a week ago. So you didn't play any preseason games. So to expect him and Darnold to be on the same page week 1, especially if Tre'Davious White's on him, that is a huge challenge, man.
See, now this is an interesting point. Simple game plan will get Gase ripped by fans, not by me. Not by me at all.
Not the first 2 weeks, no.
Nope, not by me, because if you have the offensive line where we're at, you want to get everybody in sync and you want to keep Sam safe and you want to stay in the game. Like, you can't come out, air Gase, and fling the ball around with all this uncertainty surrounding you.
But on the same token, though, there's a difference between predictable and, just not taking chances. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be a little bit different. Like, if you just try to ground and pound, like we keep saying, the Bills are going to be ready for that. So you got to throw in some wrinkles there. You can't be predictable. I'm not talking about a simple game plan, but you got to change it up a little bit where you throw some things at them that they're not expecting.
No, listen.
That makes sense.
No, I agree. Now, the one thing you kind of worry about is your depth at wide receiver and actually depth at running back, too, because these guys haven't taken live reps at all the entire offseason, other than what they did in practice. So you're going to go from barely getting hit to smash mouth, in your face, full contact for 60 minutes. How many hits can these guys take? When will they get gassed out? Will they get tired? And who's going to replace them? Now, Perriman's coming off in the last couple of weeks where his knee's been swelling up. If he's kind of iffy, you have Berrios. I mean, your depth at wide receiver is kind of challenging there. All your rotations, I think every position for the most part, you're going to see a lot of rotations because these guys aren't in legitimate, true 4-quarter game shape. That to me is a concern.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we can see when did Williamson hurt his hamstring? Came out yesterday. Yep. Came out yesterday. He got hurt. Now today, it just happened pretty quickly, which is unfortunate. So you look at that injury,
and you compound that with the fact that he is coming back from the ACL injury too. I mean that's 2 injuries, and you have Marcus May also calf and ankle. I mean these are multiple injuries, hamstrings for Denzel Mims. I mean,
but with Williamson though, to me he wasn't going to start anyway, right? It was going to be Hewitt and Cashman for the most part, and he was like your second string kind of rotational guy. Now to me it's do you bring in Alec Ogletree? They cut James Burgess. They're a little light now at inside linebacker.
That's not a major concern for me. I mean,
middle linebacker is not important anymore.
I mean, you saw how they.
You're going to go 3 safeties.
I'm working 3 safeties, but you saw it last year. I mean, we replaced Mosley and Williamson, and we still had one of the top-ranked rushing defenses in the league. So I think that's Cashman and I think Hewitt can kind of handle that role. I think Cashman also offers a little bit more as far as pass coverage goes. He's a little bit quicker than Avery Williamson, so it's just a matter of him staying healthy.
But I'm saying, this is the concern with depth, though. If you have, say you have your 3 linebackers, right, your middle linebackers, Then if one of them gets banged up, who's going in? And he didn't have safety with Marcus May banged up.
I thought they had another inside linebacker on the roster, unless I'm missing them. Hold on. Are they really? God, that's right. Owasu's hurt. Wasn't there somebody else, though? Or am I missing somebody? I'm looking at the roster now.
Let's see. We got a bunch of questions here. Rafi, we'll get to you in a couple seconds. Big James, we got everybody.
Yeah, you're right. So I guess you have to bring up another middle linebacker. I was thinking that Luvu, didn't he at one point play a little bit of middle linebacker? I know this year he was mostly outside linebacker.
You bring up Ogletree, and Ogletree was signed 3 days ago, or a couple days ago. So your depth at middle linebacker is a concern. And then the other concern is Marcus May. I saw some practice clips where he was moving around today. He looks like he's ready to play. But the problem is if you want to go 3 safeties and he gets banged up, your depth at safety is limited, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Ashton Davis, who's a rookie. McDougald is a new. You have 2 new safeties and a banged-up May. And if May goes down, then you have 2 new safeties and a rookie. It's not – there's a lot of moving parts here. It's kind of concerning.
Yeah. If May's anything less than 80%, I'm not even playing in week 1. For me, it's about long-term this season, and there's no reason to risk a guy like him getting hurt, missing multiple weeks, for something that's potentially small, and he could be back week 3, week 4. So I'm looking long-term with Marcus May. If he's not 100%, these first 2 weeks – sit him out, get Ashton Davis in there, get McDougald in there, work with what you got.
Because he was going to be like your secret weapon where he was going to take on that Jamal Adams role, do all the attacking. Like the speed of Ashton Davis helps because he can do sideline to sideline. He can give you all the range while Marcus May attacks the line of scrimmage, which is good. But, having him kind of say 80% is definitely a concern.
Yeah, and I still, maybe I'm wrong here. I don't like Marcus May in that role. I think he's better as, your safety over the top.
We can agree with that.
That's fine. No, I think he's better in the role that he's been comfortable in, where he shows that range. He's a ball hawking safety. I think he can definitely improve upon that in year 2 in Greg Williams' system if given the chance. So now you're trying to switch 2 guys' roles, as far as incorporating McDougald and having Marcus May take over for Jamal, especially when he hasn't really proven that he could stay healthy for a full 16 games. So that's a little bit concerning for me. So I'd like to keep some level of continuity. You have the front 7 for the most part coming back. So I'd like to keep as much as you can on the back end, familiar.
Yeah, May learn both positions. Greg Williams requires that, so he has some familiarity. But I think if you're the Buffalo Bills, you run all kinds of crossing patterns and out. You do all kinds of crazy formations to check the Jets' communication. Like Desir is fairly new; he missed a lot of practice time. You have Ashton Davis, you have McDougald. I do all kinds of fancy routes to see, okay, where are they going to blow an assignment at? Not having crowd noise definitely helps. You can communicate a lot easier. But they're going to be fully tested. And what we'll do is we're going to go to – we got a lot of questions on here. So we're going to go to Rafi. What would a successful game plan look like on Sunday? We're going to say, dude, run the ball, control the ball on offense. Don't get too fancy. Watch out for penalties. Watch out for stupid turnovers. Darnold getting careless with the ball.
Yep.
Defense. I'll go first. I'd say defense. Obviously stop the run. You have a spy on Josh Allen and find ways to slow down these receivers. The Bills can go 4 wide. They have the Gabe Davis, who I've heard about all for the last 3 days. Diggs is going to be a challenge. To me, it's like weather the early storm. If you can just get through the first quarter and it's still you're still feeling good about yourself and nothing's getting out of control, you'll get some confidence. You can feel better. Then you can open your playbook a little bit. Then you can kind of get settled in and go for it. I think Buffalo can come in a little bit overconfident, and the Jets can come in with a chip on their shoulder saying, we're pissed off and we want to shock the world here and just show that we're not a bottom 5 team. And what are your thoughts?
Biggest thing is you can't beat yourself. Like you kind of mentioned, turning the ball over, stupid mistakes, penalties, pitting yourself back 3rd and long. Those are the things you can't do. Also, special teams. I think that could be big. Field position. If Braden Mann can pin him deep a couple times so that they got to go the length of the field, 90 yards against this defense. I don't trust Allen to make a whole lot of plays. So, yeah, I think that's got to be the key, especially on defense. Put the ball in Josh Allen's hands. Take away their running game. Force Allen to throw the ball. If they win by, beating us with Stephon Diggs, I can handle that. But if they're just ground and pounding the shit out of us and controlling the ball for 40 minutes throughout the game, that's going to be a problem. So the Jets need to control the clock, work with Le'Veon Bell, 2 tight end sets like we talked about, and I think that's how you win the game.
Yep, and I think that there tends to be a lot of sloppy play. You can probably see some abundance of penalties. You're going to see, and I think the X factor of all this could be special teams, man, because the kickers, we have a brand new punter, a rookie punter, the returners, they haven't really been getting hit. This is going to be live action. They're not getting blasted in practice. Special teams can be a challenge too. We'll get more questions here. This is pretty cool, man. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We had no idea what to expect. I guarantee you Sunday, 1 hour after the game on Sunday, tune into this channel, win or lose. I guarantee you full entertainment.
Be falling off my chair.
We got who is going to get brought up off the practice squad, Jaleel Scott or Cager? I'm going to say Cager because Scott was just signed. And I think Alec Ogletree would probably be brought up as well because you need a middle linebacker. I mean, they think he's a veteran guy. He can probably figure things out, keep it simple for him. But what do you think?
I definitely think you got to bring up Cager. With the news about Mims, it wouldn't even shock me if they brought up another wideout. I know Josh Malone's on the practice squad as well.
What an all-star cast, huh?
Quarterback Mike White. Maybe we see him. Your favorite.
Or you got to bring up Fales.
Yeah,
Fales
one of those two is going to be. One of those two is definitely going to be brought up, and then probably Josh Adams too. With P. Ryan out,
my boy,
a nice change of pace back.
We need sound.
At least we can't have the Notre Dame soundbite right now, so that's good.
I'll figure it out. Give me 2 weeks. I'll have music on this shit pretty soon. So we got. There's some good ones here. Oh, here's a great question. What did we do to be so cursed with our second round picks? Listen, man, that's a good question, and that's.
I was gonna say, I thought Marcus May broke the curse initially. He had that great rookie year, and now he's starting to get hurt a little bit, and we haven't really done much since. So it's like,
this has been such a disappointing start from Mims because we had high expectations. The whole build around Sam, and that's P. Ryan's out, Mims is out.
I was saying not just Mims, but you look at the rookie class: Clark IR, Bryce Hall non-football injury list, Zuninga IR, P. Ryan's out, Mims is out. Another pick is your punter. I mean, that's 6 of your 9 draft picks right there.
Hey, man, but we're too negative. We're not going to do that. But, I mean, it's interesting. So we're going to go, let's see. We'll go here. Drake, what do you guys expect from Greg Williams? How aggressive will he be? That's a good question because it's a fine line here because they have a very good passing game. And if you get too aggressive and you blitz a lot, you can get burned by it. Stephon Diggs is an explosive guy. John Brown can fly. Cole Beasley beats you over the middle. They can go deep with Davis. You have Singletary, who's a very explosive back. I mean, what do you think? I mean, you can get aggressive against a running game, but man, I mean, the receivers scare me, man.
No, they do, but like I said, I would much rather the receivers beat me than having Josh Allen with the RPO and Singletary and those guys kind of just grounding and pounding us and winning that way. I can accept if Diggs beats us or John Brown beats us, because the secondary is what it is for us right now. But I think you could force Josh Allen into some mistakes. So do you press in coverage? Are you aggressive or are you playing more man like zone? I'm probably playing more zone.
Yeah. I mean, you probably have to.
Yeah.
I don't think we have the overall team speed to cook these guys.
Yeah. Disguise your coverages, play some zone, mix things up with some exotic blitzes and things like that, and just try to force Allen into a mistake or two. And if you do that while you're controlling the ball, you give yourself a chance in the fourth quarter. And I think that's as much as you could ask for week one with all the craziness this offseason.
Yeah, and you're going to see the kind of shape that Brian Poole and Desir are in too, because these Buffalo wide receivers, even Cole Beasley, like Poole's going to have his hands full with Beasley, and it's like
I like that matchup though.
Yeah, but I'm saying, did he fought dehydration for a good part of this camp? Is he fully up to speed?
They rested him. They rested him long enough, so he should be fine.
What I'm saying is, dude, you could be fine, but there's game shape. There's like being in shape and game shape, which we see a lot of players, and then it's like they're gonna test these guys. Then you may see a lot of Arthur Millette. You may see a deep rotation at corner just to keep these guys healthy and keep them like up to speed with the rest of the receivers.
One thing that I do like though with a lot of our DBs is that they do play the run very well. So that's one thing that's in our favor, I guess. So
okay, we'll go back to the questions. This is something you brought, Kevin. So you're on the same page.
I saw this morning. Yeah.
It could. I mean, that could actually help us if the weather is nasty. But you said it's going to be more the second half than the first half?
No. It's showing 50% right now from like 1 to 3 p.m. And then it looks like it might clear up again. It's only Friday, so who knows what it's going to be on Sunday. But the over-under is also listed at 39, according to Vegas. So you look at that number combined with the weather report, it seems like most of the experts think this is just going to be, one of those sloppy kind of games. So I think that does give the Jets, a better chance than if, the weather was fine and, we're just going talent versus talent.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you can make it more where teams are more, privy to run, go for it. I'm all down with that. Yeah. We have the great Ashton Davis. Now, this kid, man, this is a highly touted debut because we've heard about his range, his ball skills, his, he picks up things very quickly. I mean, a lot of pressure, man. Not even a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations early on to see what he can do to make an early impact.
Well, I think the expectations are also kind of so high because he's replacing Jamal Adams and the fan base is still kind of pissed.
Marcus May is replacing Jamal Adams.
Yes and no. I mean, Marcus May's been here and Ashton Davis is the new guy. So, I mean, I think a lot of fans are looking at it like, Ashton Davis is supposed to be replacing Jamal Adams. And, I think that what we saw from Jamal, we're kind of expecting the same from Ashton, which is ridiculous. The kid's a third-round pick. He's going to need a little bit of time. I agree. He has all the skills to potentially be great. but, it's just a matter of, how quickly he gets acclimated to the defense. And I think expecting that as a rookie, that's a challenge, because even Jamal, as a rookie, he wasn't an all-pro player yet. No. So,
all right, we'll keep going on. Thank you to everybody watching this. This is our first time doing this. We had no idea what to expect. And again, Sunday, 1 hour after the game, just stay tuned to this. I guarantee you it'll be entertaining. I want Luvu or Lange in before we put in Ogletree. But Ogletree's a middle linebacker that's been there and done that. Luvu, it's not really his game. I mean, what do you think, Primetime?
Well, I'm pretty. I don't want to say for sure. I'm pretty sure that Luvu got some reps at middle linebacker last year, if I'm not mistaken. Lange, I know he was almost always on the outside, but he had a really nice camp last year on the outside. So I do think they have some pieces. And like you said, Greg Williams, he usually forces these guys to know multiple positions. So you would think that maybe they can play middle linebacker, and that could also give you some opportunities to rush the passer a little bit and blitz. So, I like both of those guys as blitzers. It's just a matter of, if they actually know the middle linebacking position, if they can make the calls and stuff like that. But if Hewitt's out there, I assume he's probably going to be the one that's doing most of that.
Man, there's a lot of pressure to keep him healthy, man. You can't have Hewitt go down. All shit's going to hit the fan then.
Yep.
This injury bug is dreadful, and another excuse. You know what? I agree. And
speaking of that, can we talk about Kalichi Osemele?
No, we're staying with that. But the thing is, it's so funny because, Adam Gase today was like, oh, I felt like shit for Denzel Mims because he's out. I'm like, I felt like shit for Sam Darnold. Yep. And, the problem now, and we've already talked about this, and it's way early, but slowly but surely, you look at this wide receiver group, and it's like, all right, it's diminishing. And that makes you concerned for Sam. Like, can these guys consistently get open? Now, the only positive is, like I said earlier, it's 3 veteran guys. Hogan, Perriman, and Crowder have at least have NFL experience. They should be proven. If one of them goes down, you start panicking because then it's like, all right, now it's, your return's not going to be there. But I would agree that this right now, as this team currently exists, I do not think this is an excuse for Gase because they still have enough productive parts to be a functional offense. This comes down to game plan and scheme. Maximize the guys you have, offset your questionable offensive line until they get ready. You know what I mean? Like, your blueprint now is pretty obvious. Like, he can't come out and throw the ball 40 fucking times, dude. Like, you gotta know what you're doing here.
You have a talented quarterback, an all-pro running back, and you have 2 weapons with Crowder and Herndon, and you just invested how many dollars onto this offensive line. So you're replacing 7 starters, which, again, I agree there's going to be some time that it's going to take for that to, kind of mesh and gel. But these are all guys that you brought in that you thought fit your system. So I agree. There's no excuse. Early on, I can understand if there's some bumps in the road. But as we get to, week 3, week 4, there's absolutely no excuses for this offense not to be producing.
Yeah, and my one, I have 2 first guesses with Joe Douglas. I hate the fact that Thicken's the kicker, and I hate the fact David Fales is the backup quarterback. And I hate the fact that we have 5 quarterbacks. 5 quarterbacks is just – I don't give a shit if it's practice squad or not. It makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, what are we doing with that?
What do you care so much about the backup quarterbacks this year? I don't understand it.
Why mail in the fucking game? Like, why not have
Flacco's supposed to be back by week? Flacco's supposed to be back by week 3. If Sam goes down, if something happens to Sam,
I'd rather have him down this week. I give him $12,000 to sit on the sideline instead of friggin' Fails. Fails will fail. I mean, let's just be honest here.
See, I would love McCown just to be in Sam Darnold's ear, more so than having insurance to actually go in there and play. If Sam goes down, we're fucked regardless. It's not going to change anything.
Don't mail in the game, though, dude. We got a lot of questions. Holy shit. I couldn't. Hold on here. I got to catch up all here. So why didn't Joe Douglas add at least another?
Let me just say on that, because we've talked about that almost every single week. But
we talked about it during the draft.
Yeah. It's not to say that a 3rd-round pick or a 4th-round pick was immediately going to change the landscape, of our wide receiving corps right now. But at the very least, it gives you some additional options to work with, especially long-term, getting these guys some chemistry with Sam. I don't know if they were just putting all their stock in some of these undrafted free agents or what, but wide receiver was such a need for this team going into the offseason. And the fact that, Perriman was your only major free agent signing, we all assumed wide receiver was going to be the priority in the draft. And so you got Mims by the 2nd round. You're like, all right, cool. Let's get at least one more here. And they didn't take another one. And that just shocked me. And especially when you hear all the reports. You said Gabe Davis, the Bill fans were hyping him up. What was he, a 6th-round pick?
4th round?
Oh, was he 4th? I thought he was later than that. But yeah, I don't know, dude. This wide receiving class was so deep. There were so many options there that, were coming off the board that I thought could have immediately contributed, at the very least been better than, what we're putting out there right now and Chris Hogan.
Well, then the thing is, too, is like, I agree that we should have took more receivers, but the Perriman was a plan B. It's the minute that Robbie said he was going to Carolina, the Jets signed Perriman. It was like, this happened, we do this. Like, it was like they're kind of negotiating with Robbie, didn't go their way. Okay, now we're inside Perriman. He wasn't their number one choice going in the offseason. That's we're lying if we're saying that. But the other thing is, if you wanted Demaryius Thomas, he should have been signed 2 weeks ago. Like, Dante Moncrief, you brought in here, and he's already hurt and he's out. But like, because now you have to go through the COVID test, you have to go through all this stuff. Like, this progress, your process should have started 2 weeks ago. Now you're going to rely on Josh Malone. Should have
started day one from training camp.
But I agree. But now you look at we're talking about what guys we pick up on the practice squad, and these guys are all unproven guys. Like, you're going to say, okay, just say God forbid Berrios goes down or something like that. All right, we're going to play Josh Malone.
Well, you know what? That might be the best option because Sam's been throwing to him for how many weeks now at this point? At this point, it's probably too late to bring somebody in.
Dude, he hasn't played against NFL goddamn defenders.
He knows the Gase system.
Make sure you keep an eye on the rookie and make sure he's not letting pass rushers pass him. Yes, this is a big thing with Becton here, and this is something that we talked about a little bit last night. That's actually a good point, Steven, is Gase has to have an oh shit plan. And the oh shit is, okay, Becton's not really up to speed right now with this. Jerry Hughes blowing past him. How do I offset this? Do I put a tight end next to him? Do I put a running back in the backfield behind him? What do I do to slow this down and not ruin the kid's confidence in the first quarter of the game? Because the Bills are going to test him early and often, and you got to find ways to keep him head in the game and just and keep Sam comfortable where he's not getting hit on his blind side, where you always feel that blind side pressure. Yep. So that's a phenomenal point, man. That's something that you definitely have to have a good, solid plan for from Gase.
Yeah, and that was something I touched on last night as well. Like at this point in training camp, you're 4 weeks in. Like, you should kind of know what Becton is or what he's at least capable of doing by week one, and whether or not he's going to need help or not. So if you think that it's going to be an issue going up against some of these better pass rushers that Buffalo has, you got to put a tight end next to him and kind of offset that a little bit.
All right, our good friend Steve Tyson, are you worried about Becton playing against Ed Oliver? I'm worried about Becton in general.
Wait, Becton against Ed Oliver. Isn't Ed Oliver in the middle, or am I?
They may move him around, though. They could potentially move him around. I think they're going to try to find different guys to just try to rattle him. I think you're going to probably see a lot more Jerry Hughes than anything else. But listen, you got to be worried about a rookie in his first game. I mean, not having crowd noise helps, but this is a very physical Buffalo team that's going to be very aggressive and go after you and just see what you bring to the table. They want to test the rookie. And what better way to do it than blitz? And the one bugaboo in the draft was he's very good against the run, but his pass blocking was a little bit, needs some work, especially against speed guys. So, I mean, what do you think, Primetime?
No, I completely agree. So at this point, like I said, you should kind of know if he's able to, handle a speed rush or not. I mean, he's been working up against, Jordan Jenkins most of camp. You should know what you have at this point. So if he needs help, give him the help. But I don't think he's going to see much of Ed Oliver, though. I really don't.
Our good friend Ryan, shout out to Ryan, man, because right now we do NJ MMA. We do have a T-shirt brand, and Ryan's been helping me out a ton making designs and stuff. And we have one in the works that could be a game breaker for us if we can get the guy to approve it for us. So nice. We'll get to that later. Can't coach scared. Adjustments is a must. Simple game plan, yes, but need to be willing to take shots. Now, I agree you can't coach scared, and the adjustments is the important one because the one thing about Gase, which we talked about, is the first 15 plays are scripted. They look like they're an all-star team. Yep. And after that, they go to hell to the end of the second quarter. They come out at halftime. They have about 6 plays that make sense, and then they go in the hole to the beginning of fourth quarter.
Yeah. I know I probably sound like a broken record here, but the taking shots point, that has to be in the first quarter. I know I keep saying we got to ground and pound, but you have to take those chances early to allow yourself the opportunity to ground and pound because that is exactly what Buffalo is going to be looking for. So I know, Perriman's been banged up, but still he's got that speed. Take a chance with him. If you got to elevate Cager, he's got some speed as well. Put those guys on the outside, run your deep routes, and take a shot. Keep the defense honest. That hopefully could open things up, for Bell and even Herndon and Crowder over the middle.
Yeah, no arguments here, man. I completely agree. We're going to go. Crowder's going to kill against the Bills. He had a good game last year and should be better Sunday. Listen.
Yeah, 2 good games last year, 22 catches over 2 games. That's why also, if you guys are bettors out there, Jamison Crowder over 4.5 catches on DraftKings right now, minus 159. So if you're like me, bet $1.59 to win $1. That's a must-win bet right there. So
you'll have that in the first quarter.
Should. Yeah, for about 11 yards, right?
No, but I agree. Crowder is arguably your best receiver, probably compared to Le'Veon Bell. So he could have a phenomenal game. And the thing is, if you're the Buffalo Bills, is there anybody you're really scared of? You could say, if we contain Crowder, let him catch the ball and hit him right there. I guess the only guy you're probably scared of is Herndon. That's probably the only, legitimate threat that has a mismatch against safeties and linebackers. That's probably the guy because Trey White is going to have a field day with Perriman, I would guess. And there's a guy. I want to give a shout out to the guy on
I was waiting for you to get into that.
The guy that's coming at me and saying that I'm crazy for thinking that Trey White's going to stifle Perryman. Like he's a Pro Bowl corner. Like my
first team All Pro going up against a guy who's had 5 career games of success. I mean, I don't know why that's a stretch to think that White's going to shut him down.
And then he took away my comment credentials. He's like, dude, you guys have lost your credentials to comment. But unfortunately, we will always comment. Cager had a good camp. No, yes, he did. Then he got hurt. That's the problem. So
he's healthy now, though, right? So
yep. Why haven't we signed Hakeem Butler yet? That's a very good question, but nobody else has either, though. So it makes you wonder. They worked him out.
We were the only team that brought him in for a workout, right? If I'm not mistaken. So I'm surprised they haven't brought him in yet.
But he didn't sign anywhere, though. So it makes you wonder, is there a conditioning issue, a character issue, like something? It just seems weird. Let's see what we got here. Ogletree, he used to be pretty good, yes, but he's only been here a couple days, so you don't really know what to expect out of Ogletree. Hopefully, he's not to play a lot. Yeah, a lot of questions. Thank you, guys. Dude, we thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had no idea what to expect, and we're just learning this software too. So
it's test run.
Yeah, we're testing it out here. Expectations for Sam on Sunday. Is it fair to expect progress? Yes. It's fair to expect certain things, a better control of the offense, a better understanding what's going on. The only problem you're going to have is he going to feel comfortable behind this offensive line to have time to throw the ball? And is he going to know where his receivers are going? Prime time, what do you think?
I hate saying this because I love Sam, but week 1, week 2, I don't know how much progress I'm expecting to see. I mean, I would love to be surprised and to see him light it up and throw for, 250 or 300 yards. I just can't see that just because the game plan, again, like we've been talking about, I think it's going to be ground and pound, mix in a little bit of play action here and there. But I don't think Sam's going to put up huge numbers, at least early on. You hope that he limits the turnovers and mistakes and things like that, gets the ball out quickly, doesn't take some sacks. That to me would be nice progress to see for the first 2 weeks.
Yep. Like you said, he supposedly is a lot more comfortable, and you hopefully that Adam Gase starts calling plays that he's comfortable in. Roll him out of the pocket a little bit, quick passing game. Like, let this kid be himself. Don't force a system down his throat. Like, you had your year of excuses last year. You had an entire offseason to strip out and figure out with Sam, okay, how do we make you shine? How do we make you a franchise quarterback? Did you just roll your eyes? You're not believing me, are you?
No.
What? Well, we'll fight, dude. If you want to fight, I'll fight with you tonight, man. I'm ready to go.
Me, not a believer in Adam Gase adjusting to Sam Darnold's skill set? Not a chance, man.
Second round pick. You guys, I got the Mike Nugent thing. I got a funny story about Mike Nugent. I was actually at a wedding. So keep in mind, that was the year they traded for Doug Jolly in the first round pick.
Yep.
And so I'm at a wedding. I call my buddy. I'm like, who'd the Jets get in the second round? He's like, a kicker. I'm like, dude, don't fuck with me, man. Like, I'm at a wedding. I have to go back. He's like, no, we got a kicker. I'm like, what? Like a kicker in the second round? He's like, well, I guess it addresses some holes. I'm like, yeah, it addresses holes in our head. You don't think a kicker in the second round.
That was a reactionary pick to Doug Bryan missing the 2 kicks against Pittsburgh, which put me in a deep depression. So that's a great comment because Devin Smith burned Josh Norman last year for a 50-yard touchdown. So why not bring him back?
And Josh Norman's hurt. I don't think he's even playing this week, so that's even better. Yeah. So we got here. Do we have talent to play press and man? That's the question. We may have the talent. I'm not sure if we have the speed. This year's not a speed burner. Bless Austin's got some size and speed. I mean, he could probably hang, but I mean, Diggs and John Brown, these guys just fly, dude.
Yeah.
So let's see. So. Do the Jets win if Sam outplays Josh? That's a good question.
That's a really good question. I don't think so. I mean, he would have to really outplay him, but I think the Bills don't need a whole lot from Josh Allen. I think if the Bills win, it's probably going to be because they just ground and pounded us, and then that's what we can't allow to happen. But yeah, I mean,
I'm going to say yes. If Sam outplays Josh, the Jets do win this game because I think the Jets. I mean, I'm more worried about the Bills' offense than their defense.
To what extent does Sam have to outplay him? I mean, we talking 3 touchdowns versus, no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I mean, what's the gap there?
I mean, if Sam put together a game where they have a lot, when they control a time possession, where they're on the field, say 38 minutes, I think that's where you run the ball for 115 yards.
But that might not be, Sam doing a whole lot. It might just be, Le'Veon Bell ground.
Managing the game, man. He's managing the game, making big throws.
That's fine. That's fine. No, that's a fair take.
I'll take it. Hopefully it'll make Gase actually run the ball. Those 2nd and 10 running plays last year were painful. Like that could be a new drinking game. Like anytime the Jets run the ball on longer than 2nd and 8, drink a shot. And I guarantee you our post-game show will be quite entertaining.
1st and 10, 2nd and 10. Cannot be predictable.
So now this is a good question is, who's the returner? Is Ashton Davis going to return? Is it Braxton Berrios?
I think Berrios on the depth chart was listed as first-team kick returner and punt returner with Davis as the backup. So,
and I would do that initially because you want Ashton Davis to focus on just his responsibilities as a safety and as a gunner, whatever else he can do. Because returner does a lot of pressure his first game. Like, let him play safety, let him get used to it.
No,
I would. Again,
I completely agree with that, but I still think Berrios should have a role on offense in this game plan. I don't see any reason why Chris Hogan should be getting more reps than Berrios this week.
No, just because he's a veteran. I mean, as a returner, I wouldn't have Davis back there at all. I would let Berrios do it. No, Berrios should get snaps, dude. Because listen, you're going to rotate these guys in and out anyway. So I really like. Well, guess what, Charles? He is starting because Williamson's out, so we don't have much of a choice.
Well, he was probably going to start anyway. I mean, him and Hewitt have been getting a lot of the first team reps throughout training camp. So I think they really like Cashman in coverage. The only knock on him coming out of the draft was all the shoulder injuries, and he got hurt last year also. So I mean, it's just a matter of whether or not he can stay healthy, and if he does, I think he could be a starting caliber middle linebacker here.
Yep. Our good friend Tyrone. Listen. We got to work out me and Kevin first. This is our first one trying to do this. We're trying to figure out. Yeah. So we'll get him on. Don't worry. We'll bring him on. He's been a welcome addition. Let's see. Over under 6. Oof. This is a good one.
Well, last I saw it was 6.5, and I was shocked by that because the over under was set at 6.5 prior to the Adams trade and prior to Mosley opting out, and then it never changed. So I was like, if that was the over-under before those moves, how is it still 6.5 at this point? So, I mean, I'm probably looking at the under, but best case scenario, like we talked about on Tuesday, Gase and Darnold on the same page, everybody stays healthy. Maybe they get those 7 wins, but I'm not looking much higher than that.
My heart says over, my gut says under. That tells you anything. Like the us against the world mentality, I love that so much out of this team. Like, there's no more egos, there's no more drama. Like, Adams is gone. Like, they could really rally the troops. But these first, like, you want to be 2-2 the first 4 games, 2-2 the first 4 games, and make a run.
But that only goes so far because we saw that. What was it, 2 years ago with Josh McCown? They started 3-2 that year. It was us against the world. Everyone was printing the tank shirts. They started 3-2. We were tied for first place. And then how did that year end up? They ended 5-11. I'm just saying.
You're the Grim Reaper now. It used to be Shaq. Shaq was our Grim Reaper. Now you're the Grim Reaper.
Dude, I never said one negative word about this team in like 4 years of doing this show. And then once I start co-hosting, I'm all negative and shit. But
do you think they bring back James Burgess? And why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? I mean, the injury bug is just killing middle linebackers.
I mean, unless Alec Ogletree is getting acclimated right away, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to bring back Burgess.
All right, we got more questions here. Let's see. Jesus Christ, I'm shocked we have so many questions here.
Glad I got all my back.
There's some good ones in here, man. Oh my goodness, I can't even keep up with all this shit. I didn't expect all this. So I apologize for the little delay here. I'm trying to go back and I missed a whole bunch of questions. I passed them by accident.
Come on, what are you doing here?
Dude, I don't know, man. Let's see. Cashman should be good. Do you let Darnold air it out or just keep quick passes?
You can't let him air it out. At least not this week. And, with all the craziness going on, not having a real preseason, I think you're just setting him up for failure if you drop him back 40 times and, try to have him air it out. Get the ball out quickly, limit mistakes. I'm not saying it should be a conservative game plan. Take your chances, but do it strategically.
Yeah, I mean, the quick passing game also offsets the pass rush. If they stack the box and get after it, it completely slows them down. Get Le'Veon Bell in the backfield, Crowder, Herndon do that. And then once they're off balance, run the ball. They're off balance again, then take your shot deep. But I don't come out air Darnold this game. Absolutely not. Here's a bold prediction. Darnold does. Dude, I hope so, man.
Drink to that, man.
Me too. I mean, I would be so happy to see that.
Especially after the last 2 years, Spencer Long getting him killed that 1 year, and then last year with mono and everything else. It would be nice to see him out there for 16.
What are some matchups the Jets offense can exploit? Well, Josh Norman's out. So that's a help. They got 2 good safeties. They got a good corner. They got a good pass rush. I mean, if anything, I would say Herndon. Try to take advantage of the linebackers. I mean, the safeties are good too. I mean,
Bell, Crowder, and Herndon. Bell, Crowder, and Herndon. I mean, that's your game plan right there. That's your matchups.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. We're, like I said, this is our first time doing live streams, but we're gonna do a lot more of these because it's a lot more fun. It's just a little more organized and just, I don't know, whatever. So Possible busy day for Ficken. Christ, Ryan. Are you trying to make it more?
Like, dude, special teams is going to be big. I really think so. And that's
they could have burned the guy from Buffalo, Hauschka, to kick, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't. It could be, though. If this could very well be, to me, we'll do predictions in a little while, but this could be a 3-point game. It could be one of those ugly AFC East games, especially if it rains, where you're looking at that, if it's a 3-point game in the fourth quarter, do you feel confident with Ficken? I mean,
nope. That fucking extra point last year from Vedvik is still
Josh Gordon, the answer is no, but he went back to Seattle, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
I want to
me too.
Okay, let's see. We got here with the lack of wide receiver depth. Do you work belt? Yes, and yes.
So you're saying you want to see a lot of Frank Gore in the backfield, then, right?
Dude, or Josh Adams. I mean, listen, to me, Frank Gore in the back is also going to be good for blocking too. Picking up the blitz, he's seen it all. He can do that. But you got to with the wide receivers the way they are, line them both up in the backfield. And then right before the snap, let Bell slide out, do different things, but let him catch the ball, dude. Get him the ball in space. I mean, of course, people told me he's lost a step, which I don't believe them, but dude, why not?
I hate to even go back to this, but this is where Ty Montgomery would have been perfect.
Oh.
He was my favorite player in camp last year, and it just amazed me how he was such a focal. I mean, we were there. He was such a focal point every single practice. He got so many touches. He looked great, and then once the season started, he was invisible, and we didn't use him at all. And that would have been perfect. Him and Le'Veon Bell, both in the backfield. Even Bilal Powell, good in blitz pickup, can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, I'd bring in Powell now. Why wouldn't they sign Powell now?
Dude.
Right?
I don't know. I mean,
even kick tires and Devontae Freeman, but I think he wants too much money. But I'd bring another guy in.
Yep.
If there's any pattern to the game plan, there's plenty. He most definitely. Oh boy, a bust already. He hasn't even. It's week 1. Okay, so let's see. DT is washed. Should have signed Kevin White. Well, Kevin White. He sucked. He hasn't played in 2 years for the most part.
He signed with who did he sign with?
He went to Seattle and then he got cut, didn't he, or somewhere?
Did he get cut already?
Oh, no, he went to 49ers. Was it 49ers? I forget. He went somewhere else. But the thing about Demaryius Thomas, I'm not a Demaryius Thomas fan either, but we're so friggin' desperate. At least he knows the offense can run a professional route. That's much better than having, say, a Josh Malone that could be running around in circles.
Yeah, he's with the Niners right now.
Yeah.
See, I had no issue. I wish they would have taken a flyer on him. Somebody that was, a 7th overall pick with high upside. I know he hasn't played in 2 years, but you're looking to find some, long-term pieces here. So I thought that would have been a good guy to bring in, but. Can I answer this one?
Go for it.
So I don't want to use the word tanking or punting the season. I keep going to the word of evaluative year. So yes, in a way they're tanking. They're not fully trying to win, if that makes sense, because you can't tell me that the goal is to win this year when you're sitting on $30 million in cap space. So either there are some cash restrictions that, Joe Douglas is lying about, or they're legitimately looking towards the future. And Douglas said himself, a dollar you spend this year is a dollar you can't spend next year. That was a quote from Joe Douglas directly. So that, to me, implies you're looking towards the future. And I'm okay with that. The only thing that pisses me off about that is that you're wasting this time with Sam Darnold on his rookie contract, because that's such a unique opportunity in this league to win when you have your quarterback making next to nothing to actually be aggressive and build around him. And I feel like we're wasting those years.
So you think this is the official tank job? The Jets want to go 3-13 this year?
They want to evaluate all these young guys and figure out what they have going forward before they start to invest, premium dollars in free agents or, be aggressive trading draft picks for guys that can help now. I still think that once the Jamal Adams opportunity to get 2 first-round picks and then Mosley opting out, I think that changed the landscape of this offseason. It went from, all right, we have a chance to maybe compete and, get 8-9 wins, maybe compete for the division, get a wild card, to now we're probably in that 6-7 win range. Does it make sense to pay $8 million for a Logan Ryan or somebody like that?
And this is the point I agree with. They don't need a quarterback. You tank for Trevor. What are you tanking for?
I'm not saying you're tanking, but let's say you get the number 1 overall pick. Isn't that a great opportunity to trade that pick, get an RG3 type ball?
That's your game plan. You want to lose so you can get a pick.
I don't want to lose.
What kind of master plan is that?
I don't want to lose, but looking at this roster, are we saying this isn't a bottom 5 roster right now?
It's not ideal.
So
I wouldn't say tanking.
No, I don't think they're tanking. I don't think they're intentionally trying to.
I think they had a really shitty roster to begin with, and they had a lot to overhaul.
But you can't say they're doing everything they can to try to win this year. When you're sitting on $30 million, you can't say that.
But I mean, who would you want it to get? mean, some of the trades that happened, I would have been a part of. I mean, the Diggs trade, Hopkins, all those moves. I mean, Ngakoue didn't go for. I mean, that was basically a steal. Clowney, would you want Clowney? Like, how many? How many players would have signed here though?
And even in the draft, though, why weren't they a little bit more aggressive, trading future picks to try to get more picks this year to help, get some wide receivers to help Sam? Especially after, you just got all these picks for Adams. Like, you could have traded, a future second to get a second this year to get a wide receiver to help Sam.
The timing of the Adams trade, if anything, should have happened before the draft, and you could have got the conversation this year.
We talked about that too. Yeah, so I don't think they're intentionally trying to tank. I just don't think they're doing everything they can to try to win this year because they still need more pieces. And I think realistically, if Douglas is looking at this, he's saying we're not there yet.
Jets aren't tanking, but would anybody be surprised the Jets finished last? I can tell you right now, listen, I can't take a 3-13, 4-12 season. Like, I can't. Like, listen, the Patriots are the unknown. I mean, if Cam Newton's back to a healthy Cam Newton.
You know what, though? I'm going to say this. Hold on. No, I'm going to say it. That would be so much better than finishing 5-11 or 6-10. Because if we finish 5-11 or 6-10,
Christ.
What do we know about the future? What questions were answered? Probably none. Is Adam Gase coming back for a third year? Probably. If there's minimal progress, that's probably enough for him to come back. I need to see Adam Gase has not proven enough in this league to show minimal progress this year and get a third year, in my opinion. He needs to have Sam take a big step this year if he wants to get that third year and if he wants to be here for when Douglas is going to use those 4 first-round picks and all this cap space. He needs to show significant progress. And if there's just minimal progress, I hope it goes the opposite direction so that he's out and that we can bring in a new coach with all these picks. And if we are number 1 overall, that is such an opportunity to trade that to a team that needs a quarterback. And now you're looking at, 6 first-round picks over the next 2 years to surround Sam with talent? What are we complaining about?
I can't take it. I can't take being the worst in football this year. I can't take it. I just can't. Personally, I cannot mentally, physically take it.
Give me that over a 5-11 year. Give me that. Give me that over 5-11 and picking 6th again. Absolutely.
What do you guys think about Hogan? Hogan, listen, he's a receiver. He's a veteran. He's got some speed. He's got some experience, and he's probably better than an undrafted rookie. That's what I think. I don't know what to offer you here. Like, I don't. It's a plan C, man. Like, it's you got to hope you get lightning a bottle, and he has that veteran experience. And I mean,
I like that
he's not a hot commodity.
Yeah, I like that he's a veteran. He probably knows, he'll know the playbook and run the right routes and things like that. But I'd still like to see more of Braxton Berrios because he's been here a full year. He's had the opportunity to work with Sam a little bit. I think he should be somebody that we're looking at a lot more as a potential guy that could be here long term instead of Hogan.
The New Jets are going to need to run the ball at least to soften. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the biggest keys here is they all year long have to run the ball better, dude. There's no doubt about it. That's what you have to do. Your thought is that you have to pass the ball to actually run it.
Yeah,
you got to establish some kind of presence, man. And this is where you want to see all year long. You heard about that nasty streak of the offensive line. They're physical. They're nasty. They're tough. Establish your presence on the line. Establish your identity offensive line where you can start, give bell and stuff like that.
But if you're Buffalo, aren't you looking for that? I mean,
who cares, dude? I don't give a fuck what they're looking for, dude. Establish your own presence. Like this way, Ryan.
If Buffalo's putting 8 in the box, how are you running the ball?
Dude, try anyway. Put man-on-man football. Man the fuck up and make some plays. Like you can't play scared. Listen, back to your feet, dude. You stack up the left side and say, you know what? You're stacking the box. We're gonna run you over anyway. Go behind Becton. Give him a tight end on this side.
You're talking about one of the top-ranked defenses.
I don't give a shit. It's week 1, dude. They're not gonna be playing full speed week 1.
That's what I'm saying, though. They're going to be daring you to throw the ball. You have to show them that you can at least make some plays on the outside in order to run the ball.
Running game, you commit to it, though. You got to commit to it.
I agree, but you can't be predictable with it and just try to 1st and 10, run the ball, 2nd and 10, right? Like you can't do that. Otherwise, they're going to shut it down. That's exactly what they're going to be looking for.
Arnold throws the ball 40 times. This game, they're losing.
No, I agree. You can't have them throw the ball that many times, but you got to be strategic and take your chances.
Oh, this is a great question. How much? We can arrange this. I'm friends with Frankie. We can make this one work. And how much you guys done it? We can do a GoFundMe. We can raise money.
That would be a Jorge Masvidal, Ben Askren type.
I can't talk draft yet. This week 1, man. We can't do that. It's week 1.
Jamar Chase, wide receiver.
Listen, for Darnold, I don't want Sam taking unnecessary hits, man. Rolling him out, getting crushed when he throws the ball to Bell. Do you really want to see that?
Maybe. I mean, Allen does it well. Lamar Jackson does it well. I think Sam's more mobile than we give him credit for. I think he can make plays, with his legs. So,
I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't mind it.
Could you see the Jets trading for dead.
So that's a good question. I'm going to go back to 2009. So you look at the way the Jets came out that year. They started the year 3-0, but Sanchez was throwing to Kachary and Chancey Stuckey as his top two wideouts. Yep. They showed they could be competitive, and they went out and they made the trade for Braylon Edwards. I think over the first 4 to 5 weeks, if you show that you could be somewhat competitive and you're maybe going to be in the hunt, absolutely trade a future second while you have all these additional first-round picks. Get a guy like Juju in here. He knows Sam from USC. That would be a great move. Yeah,
this trade deadline is going to be fascinating because if the Jets are in contention, they're doing well. Joe Douglas has said on record that he will be aggressive to bring in guys to make this team win. So that's where your whole tanking thing's out the fucking window because hey, you know what? We're going to make a power move to make a run for a playoff spot. At the same time, if they're not doing well, you could see them trading Le'Veon Bell or something else too. So they could either go make a power move or gut the team. Like it's going to be either or. But Juju, and the thing about Juju though is that he wasn't having a really good camp this year. Like it's a really weird situation in Pittsburgh right now with him. So, Oh, now we're going halfback passes. Don't have a quarterback controversy. Is Le'Veon Bell better than Sam Darnold?
Bring back Curtis Martin to the Green Lantern.
Crowder is the key to the game. He could be. Crowder and Herndon.
Him and Herndon, yep.
No doubts here. Is this game closer than expected? Yep, it could be. I mean,
I was going
to
I was gonna say initially my gut feeling was that Buffalo was gonna win this game easily, 14 points, somewhere like that. But as we're getting a little bit closer, I do feel like, this is a game that the Jets can keep competitive going into the fourth quarter, especially, with some of the weather reports and things like that. If you're able to control the clock, work Bell in there, it wouldn't shock me if this is a close game in the fourth quarter. I just don't know if we have the pieces, to actually pull it out.
The one difference I think with this is that in theory, Buffalo is a year ahead of us and they have a lot more continuity than we have. So in terms of sloppiness and efficiency and just being more effective, they should be just because they're all the guys they're returning. They have a lot more continuity than we do. I mean, they added Diggs, but everybody else is pretty much in the fold.
Yep.
Let's see. We already answered this. Ogletree. Yeah, we talked about this. Ogletree, Josh Adams, David Fales, Manny Mo and Jack.
Cager and Malone.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal.
I mean, I feel like he's going to be there. I keep saying I feel like he's going to be there at one point, but this year, especially early on in the year, I don't know how much he can elevate guys around him. Yeah, he'll be that quarterback one day. This year, I don't know.
I agree, Ryan. I'm with you, man. I completely agree with you. There's no arguments here. Yeah, Angelo, this is a topic that every time we bring it up, we get called to be Gase haters. And I mean, just look at the last 2 days. Denzel Mims went from being back to practice to both hamstrings are hurt. Williamson's out. Nathan Shepard's got a rib injury now. I mean, and they fired the strength coach, didn't they? Didn't they fire the guy, John Melody?
Yeah, and a lot of the old time Jets who never had injury issues, they were saying like, what the hell? This guy was, he was perfect when we were there. So, I mean, the only reason I think it's a cause for concern is because you look back at his tenure in Miami, and these are a lot of the same trends that, you're seeing over here early on.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes, Rafi, absolutely.
And first of all, thank you to everybody who's been watching this. This is our first live stream. We're doing Sunday, 1 hour after the game. We're doing the same thing. We're going to do a lot more of these because it's a lot more fun. It's easier to manage, and you don't have to hear from Steve the whole time, so it's even better. Yes, I agree. You could see a lot of jumbo stuff, man. I mean, if you look at the strength of this team right now, it's probably your tight end position with Herndon. You got Wesco, you got Griffin. Maximize the dude, and then if you can protect Becton and it just,
I'm on the Trayvon Wesco train this year.
Here we go.
For him. I'm hyping that one up.
Let's see. Jets use Bell's different kind of player, though. That's the only problem with that.
Yeah. Hopefully we're not seeing too much of it, but yeah.
I mean, the special teams is an X factor in this game. You don't know what to expect of a rookie punter, the returners. We have no idea what to expect. The kicker, I hate. Let's see. Here's a good question. Why do you call Kevin Primetime? Because he's Primetime. How the hell did it even start? Do you remember how we started all this?
I have no idea.
Producer.
You started calling me that on like the second show. I think on the first time that you brought me on live, and then
you were always like Hollywood. You're like a Hollywood.
Oh, no. That was your nickname when I started the show. You were Hollywood Roush. I was Primetime Producer, and I don't know why the Hollywood nickname fell off for you, but the primetime one stuck.
I'm the man of the people now. That's why I can relate to it. Wasting
shots fired.
Wasting a promising quarterback with the Jets. They're not wasting him yet. It's not officially wasting him, but the concerns are there. I mean, you got to hope this offensive line just really surrounds him well this year, and these receivers pan out. But I mean, I hate the fact that there's even thoughts that Sam is on his way out next year. They're going to talk about drafting Trevor Lawrence, and this is a make or break year for Sam. I hate that concept. I think it's ridiculous. If you look about it, if you listen to our show, we've talked about it. You look at every young quarterback in the NFL, Drew Lock. You'll see the guy, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, all these guys. Their situation is so much better than Baker. Baker Mayfield's loaded with talent around him. They're so much better in terms of coaching, playmakers, offensive line than Sam Darnold is, and it's not even close. So that right there is a failure by the Jets, and they got to hopefully his offensive line helps them, man. That's all I can really say.
No, I completely agree with you on that one, and it sucks too because like I mentioned, this is such a great opportunity while you're not paying him anything to try to win, and it seems like other teams are taking advantage of that. They're surrounding their quarterbacks with talent, doing everything they can to maximize it, and we're kind of here saying, all right, we have so many different questions and concerns. I don't know.
New York Jets defense is at full strength with Adams and Mosley. Do you think they could shut down?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have Mosley last year and they shut him down. I mean,
I would absolutely, if Adams and Mosley were Jets right now, I would pick the Jets to win this game. I think they would be enough of a difference to, kind of keep the Bills under 20 points, and we'd be able to find a way, with Herndon, Bell, and Crowder to put up some points and control the clock. Yeah, I think that would be enough of a difference.
Oh, Vincent Smith shout out. I mean, listen. Hopefully he comes back and
he's got speed.
Prince bottom three, Rob. Bills fan. Bill, you know what?
I don't know why the Bills fans hate on us so much because we acknowledge they've done right by Josh Allen. They're a year ahead of us. We give them pretty good respect here, but
dude, they are ultra confident, man. They are thinking they're winning they're talking about 12-4 playoffs. Do this and listen.
I saw the one tweet today that it would be a shame if they don't blow us out.
They said they should win by at least 14 or more. Exactly. It really shouldn't be a game if they want to prove how good they are.
Yep.
Go for it, man. See what happens. I mean, the Bills have a history of choking in a big spot, so we'll see. Losing and thanking. I just can't. I can't talk number one pick. I just can't. Let's see. Agreed. I mean, that's the whole key. That's what Joe Douglas is banking on, to be honest with you. Joe Douglas is banking on this offensive line being a lot better, and that's going to give Sam time to throw the ball and then make everybody around him better. Now, in theory, if Sam has time to throw the ball, then he can maybe make guys around him better. He can make the throws, throw in space, give yards after the catch and all that stuff. That's ideally their vision, especially all the speed they have at wide receiver when Mims comes back and Smith and everybody else. Until then, I mean, and the running game, which they couldn't do last year. If you can run the ball, that helps everybody.
Yep.
Right.
If your offensive line is doing what it should do, and again, these are all guys that you brought in, you paid significant money for, you invested a first round pick in. It's a matter of time before they gel. If they're able to do what you think they could do, and you got Le'Veon Bell kind of performing like he did in Pittsburgh, you can work so much off of that. So, yeah, I agree. You have
to Jesus Christ, we've been bottoming him out for 10 years. We've trusted the process. I
thought when we got Sam, that was when we bottomed out.
We embraced the rebuild. We trust the process. We understand what bottoming out has been. We've been bottomed out. At some point, you got to start going upwards. Didn't the Niners? Yes, they did. I wanted Bosa so bad.
That was the difference, man. Imagine if we had Bosa right now. If we were picking.
You really trust the Johnsons to not take Lawrence? I don't trust nobody. My biggest fear, and I'll be completely honest with you, is that we leave this season not knowing about Gase and not knowing about Sam Darnold. We have a real mediocre year. We don't learn shit, and we have more questions than answers. And then all this hysteria and nonsense.
That's what I said 20 minutes ago.
I hate talking about this. I hate it.
No, I completely agree. And I just hope that Gase doesn't have the power or authority to push Sam out the door and point the blame on him if this season goes wrong. So
this topic you wanted to bring up earlier, and I can't avoid it, but
I mean, how many highlights were we going to see last night? And again, you don't want to point the finger at Gase or the training staff or anything, but the way that whole injury situation went down last year, and now he's healthy week one, pancaking guys left and right. I'm like, we could have used that right next to Becton right now.
You got the healthy guy.
Yep.
You got a healthy assembly, and that was just painful to watch. So
McCagnon knew.
You had to get a McCagnon reference in, right? How many drinks do you have? This is not fair, man.
That last draft is turning out to be pretty good, I think.
Oh, Christ.
Wesco's going to have a big year. Cashman starting inside linebacker. Quinnen Williams ready to break out.
If they put 8 in the box, use play action pass. Yes, but you have to have the threat of the running game at some point, and you got to figure out ways to get Crowder and Bell involved at the backfield. I'm real curious to see how Adam Gase uses Frank Gore, dude. Like I'm curious and I'm worried about it. And hopefully I'm a Josh Adams fan, not even Notre Dame. The kid's got some burst to him if he's completely healthy. But I mean, this offensive line is going to be tested on every level, man. And McGovern and Becton at most. I mean, McGovern's going to get tested because this is his first time truly snapping the ball to Sam under pressure, and Becton just going to get challenged by Hughes. So This is pretty cool, man. We got a lot of questions. Thank you again to everybody, man. We had no idea what to expect with this. So this is pretty cool. How many carries? All right, prime time.
25.
I'd say at least 20. You got to give him the ball, dude. And I'd say what? 8? How many catches? 7, 8 catches?
Yeah.
You got to. Yeah, I'd say your goal is to probably get the ball in his hands at least 25, 30 times if possible. I mean,
you have no choice. You have to actually have the ball though to be able to do that. You know, if the Bills are controlling the clock, it's going to be difficult to do that. But yeah, I mean, for the Jets to win, I think that has to be their game plan.
All right, let's see. We got more questions, and I hit the wrong button. So we got Paolo's. Buy some time here. Here we go. So we got, let's see. Juju's a slot guy. How confident are you in week 1 that we can beat the Bills?
I'm confident that we can play a competitive game for maybe 3 quarters, but my confidence level as far as winning the game, not too high just because they're a better team, better roster, continuity that they're bringing back. We have a lot of challenges coming on. I think later in the year when we play them, we might have a better shot. But for week 1, I don't know.
That means to me the key to this game is survive the first quarter, survive that early just medley of madness, and just get out there and say, okay, listen, we're still in the game. We know what the hell we're doing. We can regroup a little bit, make some adjustments, which didn't happen last year, and okay, now find a ways to win the game. But weather the storm, get in there. I mean, it really could be an ugly game. One of those penalties and turnovers and all kinds of shit, sloppy tackling, and like an old school AFC East game. I can see that happening, man. But my level of confidence, if I'm being completely honest, isn't very high. I mean, Sunday morning I'll be excited as hell and fired up, and I've been talking shit to a Bills fan for the last 3 weeks. But
I got a question for everyone that's listening. Is anybody putting some money on Jets money line plus 240? Or are we taking the spread at 6.5? Because I know when I wake up Sunday morning, I'm always going to be tempted to bet the Jets money line. So
yeah, I don't. Come on, Luke, you're going to watch, man. We all say the same shit. If they don't do this, I'm not going to watch. And I guarantee you, come next Sunday, you'll be watching Jets 49ers. But I agree that he should get the ball at least. And here's the other thing you got to worry about. The last thing you want, dude, is for Gase to grossly misuse Bell on Sunday to deal with all the bullshit next week, because the media is waiting for it. Everybody's waiting for that, fires, because there's no other drama, dude. What other drama's left? The only drama left is Gase and please use him right, and please do not let this happen. He's your best asset on offense, minus Herndon. So
that's going to be a huge test for Gase this year, showing that he can adapt, kind of put the ego aside. We all know that he prefers running back by committee instead of the feature back, but when you have a player like Bell with his ability, you got to feature him. So
if Herndon can win his matchup, we might have a good chance. Listen, Herndon's a big part of the game plan. You need a guy that's going to make plays, and it's going to be Crowder, but that's going to probably be over the middle. Herndon can maybe stretch the field, get some matchups downfield. It opens up, the running game, everything else. I mean, he's a big piece of the puzzle, man. Hopefully he's healthy, man. He stays healthy. That's the number one thing here. Let's see. Yeah, we saw Assembly, but nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Yep, they circled them well last year. We're not gonna talk trash. We're gonna keep it nice. Let's see. O-line is the key, no doubts there, man. That is number one, front and center. And like I said, you want to see them establish their presence first snap, dude, and come out and just maul people. And everybody's gonna wait for it. You want what are your expectations from Becton, dude? Be honest. Week 1, what do you want to see out of the rookie?
Not make too many mistakes, no penalties, things like that. I mean, I don't want to put too much pressure on him to win one-on-one matchups. That should be on Gase and Frank Pollock, the offensive line coach, to give him the help if he needs it. If he's shown you through 4 weeks that, he's dominating Jordan Jenkins more often than he's getting beat, and you think he can handle those one-on-one matchups, fine. Otherwise, give him the help, ease him into this role as a rookie. Because, I mean, you're asking a lot out of a rookie going to, left tackle. So,
yep. All right, let's see what we got here.
I don't think we should be talking shit about Josh Allen and the Bills.
Why not? Let's do it.
Like I said, I think you can force him into some mistakes. So that has to be the game plan. Take away their running game. If Josh Allen makes his throws and he beats you with Diggs, fine. I'll accept losing that way. But, I think you can force him into some mistakes. He will overthrow some receivers, and hopefully you're there to, make a few turnovers and kind of swing the game a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for. The kid's a very talented player. I mean, if he improves his accuracy at all with the weapons around him, they'll make him better. I mean, you look at he has an all-star cast around him. That's what the Jets want to have one day. I mean, they got speed, they got talent. If he can hit these guys in space, I mean, I think he's a little better than people give him credit for.
Yep.
If the O-line can get Sam time, he can make it. Yeah, I mean, that's what you want, man. I think that's what Joe Douglas's vision is, to be honest with you, is give Sam time, let him show off his skill set, let him make everybody around him better, make those money throws we've seen him make. He has some kind of Favre tendency sometimes where he makes those throws. You're like, oh, don't do it. And you're like, oh, shit. Like that kind of stuff.
I disagree with. I like that aspect of his game because you saw last night, Patrick Mahomes, how many throws did he make? Like where there was a rush coming at him, he's on his back foot, but he gets it there. Like Darnold can make those throws. He could do those things where he's off balance, his feet aren't set, but he gets the ball there. He's got the mobility. He has all those same skill sets. So I don't want him to kind of be conservative and for Adam Gase to take that away from him. I want him to embrace that and be aggressive and be that kind of gunslinger. But you kind of have to manage it so that you limit your mistakes too. But
you guys talking negative for world surprise offense. Listen, I don't like being negative. I just like pointing out the red flags and concerns that we have. If you look at the matchups, I mean, we talked about some of the matchups here. And the thing is, you look at this game, and they play week 7, right? Don't they play week 7? I guess the second time. You look at the matchups. It's like, I think you have a lot more confidence then because you know what your offensive line is. You know what your offense looks like. Guys have got some playing time underneath their belts. The chemistry with the receivers, all that's different. It's week 7, isn't it?
Hold on, I'm checking right now.
It's just dead air, man. No big deal. We'll sit here and wait.
Week 7.
Yeah. So listen, now one thing is though, if they win this game on Sunday, dude, the amount of confidence that will come out of this team where it's like, listen, they're all going to buy into what Gase is selling. They can keep rallying us against the world. It'd be absolutely huge.
And let me just say, I hope that we're wrong. I hope that there's a million comments that are just ripping us to shreds because we've been too negative this offseason after the Jets go out and dominate Buffalo. I hope that's the case. There's nothing more that I would love to see than us logging on here an hour after the game on Sunday and seeing all those comments. I would love to see it. I don't expect it.
Yep. I mean, this is if the O-line is drastically improved, that means your running game is going, and that means Sam can make throws, and that makes your whole life better. And that also keeps the defense off the field because you have time of possession. Like the trickle down of a good offensive line, we saw it with Mark Sanchez.
See, I still worry about the defense, though. Even if the offense has improved this year, I don't think the defense is going to be able to perform the way it did last year. You had a couple games in there, where you're facing Duck Hodges and Matt Barkley and guys like that at quarterback. I think they were very fortunate last year with the schedule as well, and you're not going to have a lot of those games this year. So I think it's going to be a much more challenging effort for the defense this year to keep the team in games. I think the offense could definitely improve. I just don't know if it's going to translate record-wise.
Yep. I mean, listen, this Jets team, if you believe what they're telling you in the media, they're really rallying the troops where they're all about, us against the world. They're tired of being discounted. They're tired of being counted out. Everybody says they suck. One of the worst teams of football. That's going to be, that could be a rallying point. And then they got to come out. You expect to see a valiant effort here. Smart, tough, physical football. Come out with attitude. Come out with some passion. Really bring it to the Bills, dude. Give me your best shot.
And you know what? That would give me tons of confidence in Adam Gase going forward. If this locker room is all buying into whatever's been going on the last few weeks, and they come out with a kind of effort like that, that would be awesome going forward. To feel like these young guys are buying into what he's selling. That would be nice to feel that way. I don't expect to see it.
Right now, we trust Douglas. I mean. Right now, he's still a work in progress. I think he's got a lot to learn. He's got a lot to prove. This draft class right now is mostly hurt. So we don't even know what this draft class is. Yep. The wide receiver position right now is a concern. That's part of his fault. And the offensive line has a lot to prove as well. He brought in guys. He revamped this offensive line in his vision. Athletic guys, versatile guys. Can they play together? Can they perform? I mean, that's You know what I mean? He took lesser guys, not the higher price guys, took lesser guys based on what he thought, his evaluation. He's an offensive line guy. They've got to play well because the last thing you want is what we saw last year. If Sam's getting his shit kicked out of him again and he's getting hurt, battered, and bruised, the offense is going backwards, that falls on Douglas too, man. Like, yes, Gase has game planning, but if the guys you brought in aren't good, that's a problem.
I have no issue questioning Douglas, but I do legitimately wonder whether or not he was limited as far as what he could have done this offseason, because I think that's a legitimate concern. If he was tied a little bit financially and they weren't allowing him to go after the guys that he really wanted to, I mean, that would be a real concern if that was the case. But I do trust him long term, with the picks that he has and the cap space that he's saving up to build that around Sam.
How's Hurnley going to do? We'll find out. I mean, the problem is we don't know what he is. Like, we have a vision of what we think he is, but unfortunately, we haven't seen it. We saw glimpses of it, and then last year was a mess. He didn't play. So now, and now it's like he had, training camp this year, got banged up a little bit. I mean, he's probably gonna be rusty. He's probably, it's our expectations are very high. Will we see it this week or week 7? Maybe. I mean,
yeah. I mean, his rookie year, he had I think 39 catches or something like that. We were all expecting the big year too, and then he had the suspension and then the injury, so he didn't really get a chance to do anything. So yeah, I mean, every year in training camp, he's been one of the focal points of the offense. Him and Sam have really good chemistry, so I think if he's out there for 16 games. There's no reason not to expect him to have 50, 60 catches this year and put up some good numbers.
Yep. No, I agree. I mean, we have very high expectations for so many questions, man. Holy shit. Let's see. Josh. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not as down on Josh Allen as many people are. Like I said, he's got a big arm. He's a great athlete. He's a great leader. The team is rallied around him. The team respects him. I mean, he's doing everything right, and he's in the right situation. Like, the Buffalo Bills have done the right thing. They built around him right. They're trying to maximize his talent, maximize his resources. That's the way you win. And I don't have no hate towards him, dude. Like, I'm not I guess. No,
and I hate that we have to say that. And I wish we were talking about Sam Darnold in that same light because, the Buffalo Bills have absolutely done 100% right by him as far as coaching staff, offensive line, getting weapons, all of it. They put him in a position to succeed and get better, especially as a young quarterback. Meanwhile, we're asking a 23-year-old Sam Darnold to kind of put the team on his back. So it's completely different situations that both are in right now.
You need talent. It's not about talent. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not all about talent. It's about coaching. It's about effort. It's about discipline. It's about a lot of different things, but talent does help. I mean, you watch the Chiefs last night. They got just an abundance of talent all over the place. Yep. And then you watch Deshaun Watson running for his life because guess what? The guys they brought in like Randall Cobb weren't the answer. So, do we put Mims on IR until week 4 and just yes? My answer is definitely yes. With hamstring injuries, why risk it? Especially with a rookie, it's missed all this time. Don't rush him back. I don't want an 80% Mims, dude. I don't want him limping around and worried how to get out of a break. Bring him back when he's fully healthy.
Yeah, and we all knew as a rookie he was going to take a little bit of time to get acclimated coming from Baylor. He wasn't asked to do a whole lot as far as the route tree goes. This is a good opportunity for him to kind of sit back, learn the playbook. It sucks that he's not able to take advantage of a greater opportunity in being out there and, catching passes from Sam. But, hopefully, again, by the end of the year, you find out that he's, maybe a legitimate number 2 and him and Sam are in sync and, you have him going forward.
When are we going to learn not to draft wide receivers around? Jesus Christ. I don't know.
That's so funny, too, because, we were all so hyped. We did the live stream on that night, through Zoom and everything. We were all so hyped about that pick. And there was a few comments in there. Oh, here we go, Stephen Hill. And I'm like, no, come on. This isn't Stephen Hill. And now he's fucking injured already.
For how many weeks will they keep it interesting for this year? Hopefully every week, man. Hope the goal is to play meaningful games in December. I'm really tired of week 8 we're out of it, and we got to try to come up with some fake rally cry to win 4 in a row to kind of get in contention, then lose to a winless Bengals team. I kind of want to have meaningful games where things are actually important. You can enjoy football each week and say, you know what, my team is going to be competitive. They can win this game. You look at matchups. Isn't that the goal?
Maybe I'm just trying to limit the pain of this year, but long term, I want to see success. This year, my expectations and keeping things interesting. I don't care as long as Sam is playing well and we feel good about him going forward. I'm cool with that. And as long as we get an answer on the head coach one way or another, either Sam is taking that big leap and we feel good about Gase, or there's problems and the locker room dissension and all stuff like that, and we get rid of him. I just want answers this year. You know what I mean? As far as being competitive and stuff like that, this year for me it's a wash. Get Sam healthy, have him progress, and feel good about going into 2021.
Yeah, a couple quick notes. Primetime, nysfmagazine.com or nysfmag.com. Check it out. Great articles, all kinds of super content for New York sports. And then my little plug is njmmashop.com. We're selling shirts, really cool shirts. Yeah, he's got one right there. That our proceeds go to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. So we're trying to raise money and help the MMA schools in New Jersey. Let's see what we got here. Moneyline, Jets Week 1 is a tradition of mine. Jets fan in Philly, love the show. What's up, Kevin? How you doing, man? Prime time's a resident gambler here, so I don't know.
I was going to say, Kevin's going to get me to bet the money line now. Either him or, I'm going to get the group text. Hey, 240, you got to bet it. So I don't think there's been a week 1 that I haven't bet the Jets money line. This year I wasn't planning on it, but I'm sure Sunday morning I'll wake up, have a few drinks, and I'll put some bets in.
Don't forget, Sunday, 1 hour after the game, we'll be on here doing it. So hopefully we can have a 2. Yes, that's my goal right here is 2-2. Get the 2-2, man. You're in the hunt. You've offset your early season jitters. You have your offensive line established. You can open your playbook up. You're not at the hunt with the rampage on, because if you're 1-3, 1-4, the media, the fans, the chaos breaks out, the banners, all the other shit comes out, and
not just that. I mean, the schedule starts to ease up after the first few weeks. I mean, you get a couple games in there. You see the Bills again, Patriots, Dolphins. I don't think the Patriots are going to be that good this year. You get Dolphins back to back. The Raiders are in there. Browns. I think the Jets, if they can survive that early portion of the schedule, I think they might have a shot, because, you look around the AFC, I think you might see a wild card team that sneaks in at 8-8, 9-7. So, if everything breaks right, you might be in that conversation in December. At least you hope.
Prime time. We got to get some sports betting advice here.
Oh, really? I got to sign up on that then.
This show's all kinds of crap. Listen, man, somebody's got to sponsor us. We've got to get a sports book to sponsor us here, man.
Either a sports book or fucking Truly or somebody that, makes alcohol. We do enough drinking and gambling. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious what you guys think. Also, a couple other lines I was looking at, they actually have Sam Darnold as far as the over-under on passing yards at 224. I feel like that's ridiculously high considering, I mean,
the rain,
the questions at wideout also. I mean, I feel like that's pretty high. Le'Veon Bell is also, I think that's a pretty low number for him. 57.5 yards rushing and 23.5 yards receiving. Those are numbers I'm jumping on. And then Le'Veon Bell to score a touchdown plus 140. Chris Herndon to score a touchdown plus 400. I think those could be potential wins as well.
Do you guys think it'd be good that Jets to trade a second-round pick for someone like Galladay? Should have did it already. They should have already done this.
Is he worth the second-round pick?
I mean, at this point, I mean, now the problem that you have, we kind of talked about this earlier, is you don't know what these players are like at all, because we haven't seen any preseason. The only information we have is the training camp reports that the teams release themselves. So you don't know what kind of shape they're in, health-wise, conditioning. You don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, I think Galladay is much better than what we have right now. I just don't know if he's worth a second-round pick. And they're talking about the receivers next year being, very similar to the class this year, where it's, one of the best classes, in the last few years. So you might want to hold on to those picks.
These moves that we're talking about now should have happened 3 weeks ago. I mean,
I agree.
Best Jets game you've ever been to? This is easy for me. I can tell you right now.
Me too.
Jets Jacksonville. Jets Jacksonville home playoff game. Keyshawn Johnson had probably one of the best playoff games in history of the Jets. He had a touchdown catch, a reception, an interception, a fumble recovery. He did it all, man. He was, but the stadium was just, this is when you could tailgate early. We were there like 7:00 in the morning. The stadium was electric, the atmosphere, and that was probably one of the best teams we've had in recent memory. So that's crazy.
I was there for that one. I was only 10 years old, though. So as far as like the tailgating and drinking, I wasn't doing that yet. But the best game I went to by far, Jets-Packers 2001, I did a video on it, a few months ago, just because I've never been to any kind of game where you had that swing of emotion while you were sitting in your seats, because you walked into that stadium feeling completely defeated, like the Jets had no chance. The Browns, they just beat the Falcons after a goal line stand, so that blew their chance at a wild card. Yep. And so the Patriots were down by 10 or 11 points with about 4 minutes left in the game. That was our only shot to make the playoffs out of division. So as kickoff is starting, we're watching that game. Everyone's paying attention to that. Nobody's watching what's going on the field. And we're thinking, we're screwed as far as making the playoffs go. And all of a sudden, the Patriots march down the field, touchdown, 2-point conversion, and everybody's just watching everybody on their Walkmans trying to get updates and everything. And then, Vinatieri ties it up, goes to overtime, and they win it. And the stadium just fucking went bonkers. And so that was it was insane.
Dude, we were there tailgating for that. And we were at the tailgate just like tearing it up. It's like, another lost season, lost opportunity. Yep. This is, same old Jets, same old bullshit. And you're sitting like, wait a minute. Then you started. We weren't going to go in the game until like the second quarter. Like, we're just going to just mail it in, And you're watching like, oh, this is all changing, and the environment just went nuts. And it was definitely
never experienced anything like that.
Why is because you know what? And we had it's so funny because we're really appreciative that everybody listens to our show because we have a lot of requests for Steve's hot takes and we have a lot of requests for Shaq's hot takes. And the problem that they both have is they both waffle. They're inconsistent. That's the problem, right? And Shaq's the Grim Reaper, man. He hates everything. He hates the flight crew. He hates the ball. He hates everything.
Shaq's unpredictable, but I don't think he waffles as much as Steve does, though. Steve just kind of goes with what we say.
But Shaq, you know when Shaq's in the mood, though, when he calls in, he's like, man, we got to talk.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit, here it comes. Yep. Another Grim Reaper.
Yep.
I see. This is a bad question. I like Mark Sanchez.
Me too.
I mean,
and I still don't blame him for why his career kind of went south. They took everything away from him. You took away Kotchery, replaced it with Derek Mason. You took away Damian Woody, replaced it with what was his name, Wayne Hunter. Like every possible piece that he was developing chemistry with, you took it away from him, and you didn't
Derek Mason
the right way. Yeah, even Plaxico Burress over Braylon. I mean,
don't underestimate Burress. No, we have no choice. I mean, there's no receivers left. They got to catch passes. Like there's not really anybody else here. I mean, but what are your expectations for Perryman Sunday? What is we haven't even talked about. Like, what do you?
I don't
want receiver.
I don't expect anything from him because I know
he catches 48 yards.
Not even that. Tre'Davious White's going to be on him. I know people don't like hearing this, but he's a legitimate All-Pro corner, one of the best in the league. He's going to lock down Perriman. Perriman hasn't had enough time, I don't think, to practice and get in sync with Sam yet. So I think the game plan is going to focus on Crowder, on Herndon, on Bell. I don't think they're going to be looking towards Perriman. And that's what I hope, actually. I hope White's on Perriman, and that's just kind of a wash, and we focus elsewhere.
Excited for the rookies this year. Well, only two of them are going to be prominent players on Sunday, Becton and Davis. I mean, and those are two, right at this point, they're prominent players because Becton's your left tackle, and he's going to got a lot of pressure on him, and Davis, with a banged-up May, is going to be asked to do a lot. So,
yeah,
I mean,
I'm excited to see Ashton Davis, and I definitely want to see Becton offensive line. We know that's the biggest thing towards keeping Sam healthy and getting him to where we need him to be. So yeah, I mean for those two, absolutely. But the rest of the class, I mean, tons of injuries and a lot of questions.
I mean, there's no arguments here. I mean, you need game-breaking talent around Sam, and right now they don't have it.
I think a number one wideout completely changes the outlook on this offense. Because, once Mims is healthy, I think he could be a good number two. Crowder could be good in the slot. We like Herndon. We love Le'Veon Bell. And if the offensive line gels, I mean, what more do we need? So it's a number one wide receiver away, I think, from really being a true good offense.
This could be a segment we work on. We could work on it where we could bring on Steve, but he's probably past his bedtime right now. Was it 9:30? He's probably past his bedtime. So we can't do that.
Holy shit, we've been going for an hour and a half almost?
Yeah, man. So we got who's got the best LT in the draft between the Giants and Jets?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, I mean, if I'll be fair, I had Andrew Thomas rated ahead of, Mekhi Becton, prior to the draft, just from a pure technique standpoint. But the physical attributes from Becton, if he can, kind of put that all together, I think there's no ceiling to what he could do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question there. Yep. Really interested to see how our DBs handle an elite route runner like Diggs on Sunday.
Do you double him? Can you afford to double him?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's a good question. I'm curious to see how we handle all the speed. Brown, I mean, it's just, do you press him? Do you go coverage? How do you do it? 4 sacks is the team or we lose. 4 sacks. You may not need 4 sacks. You just need a lot of pressure to contain the pocket. Keep Josh out in the pocket, force him to make throws, and see what happens with it.
Yep.
All right. Anybody here live in Monmouth County, New Jersey? I live in Ocean County, if that counts or anything.
Morristown.
Let's see. We're trying to see the problem with Jets all somehow leads to Gase. Just fired. Okay, so we're going to go. Who is the pick for the biggest surprise impact Jet player for Sunday? That's a good question.
I'm going to go Quinnen Williams. I like me some Quinnen this year. I think he's primed for a big year.
I'm going to go Jordan Jenkins. Jenkins and just – man, I hope Quinnen breaks out. I agree. I completely agree with that. You need Quinnen to break out, to be honest with you, dude. Like he's a big piece.
Yeah, he can completely change the landscape of this defense if he's really, that even like I said last night, like half of Aaron Donald, like just a force up the middle that you really got to worry about and double team. That opens things up for Jenkins and other guys on the outside. That would be big.
My favorite band right there, Linkin Park. Rest in peace, Chester Bennington, man. Let's see what we got here. Oops. Hold on.
This is fucking awesome. I love this so much more than the fucking blog talk.
Yeah, me too, man. I gotta plug my laptop in. I think we're gonna go this long. I gotta put my laptop in a second, so you may have to talk for a couple seconds.
That's fine. I can't see the questions though.
DraftKings, what's that?
I can see the questions. I just can't put them in though.
Oh yeah, just go. It'll take my 2 seconds. So DraftKings has that's your question.
I saw that. I didn't see that they had the insurance though. But yeah, that's good to know because I saw Le'Veon Bell. I think he was like plus 700 to score the first touchdown. Not that I'm expecting the Jets to score the first touchdown of the game, but if I was going to bet on that, I'd probably put it on Bell.
I don't think Brian Winters is starting. That's the problem. So
was it Cody Ford at right guard? I think?
Or that Darryl. What the other guy's name is too. How do you guys think of your defense? Well, you answer that one. I got to put my laptop in, so you do that. I'll be right back.
Yeah, my opinion of the defense is not positive at all. Just because I don't think fans realize what it's going to be to replace Jamal Adams. You know, we all look at the way that he left the team and we say, all right, you know, we could be fine without him. But we said those same things after, John Abraham was traded, after Revis was traded. And then eventually it starts to set in where, replacing elite talent is not easy. And you look around like all the analysts that are, talking about top 10 players defensively in the league, Adams is usually in that list. So I hate the way he went out. I hate the way he treated the Jets going out. But he was still a major contributor to that defense, the best player we had on that defense. So losing him and not getting Mosley back, that's a lot to replace on the defense. And, May's banged up. We don't really know what Quinnen's going to be yet. I just don't think we have that star player on defense to, really elevate this unit. We could be good against the run. I think the front seven's fine against the run, but developing a pass rush, question mark. Having a true shutdown corner, major question mark. So I'm not too high on the defense, to be honest. We hope that Greg Williams can save it, but other than that, not too high on it.
I'm not going to answer. Hope George Gant. We'll go with George Fant, and I think George Fant has to be good. I mean, he's your starting right tackle.
I was going to say that's one signing that I've come around on because, like, when it first happened, I was all over, Jack Conklin. I really wanted him. I didn't buy in at all to George Fant, but it seems like he's been having a decent camp. We haven't heard his name as far as getting beat at all. He was voted a team captain by the teammates, so it seems like he's taken Becton under his wing. So you like some of that? Yeah,
I mean we haven't really talked about him at all, dude. That's the crazy thing. It's like it's been.
I think that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Just to score first is a good bet. They scored first touchdown 8 of 13 games. All right. See, I might have to put in that Le'Veon Bell bet now.
Now we're giving gambling advice.
I mean, we're trying to find sponsors. DraftKings, FanDuel, PointsBet, whoever's out there, hit us up.
No, this is the point about Gase we talked about earlier. Is he's good on script. It's adjusting afterwards and not being arrogant with your play calling, where you're calling plays consistently that don't work. Like once things don't work, especially the offensive line this year. Like last year, offensive line couldn't pick up a blitz. And he never adjusted, never rolled Sam out of pocket, anything else like that. Yep. That's kind of been the problem. So it's more than a script at this point.
Yeah, it's got to show you can make the adjustment. Yeah, see, I said that a few weeks ago. See, but that can only happen, though, if, Chuma Edoga or somebody steps up at tackle. Yeah, that's what I was really hoping for, that Edoga would step up at the tackle spot, and then you can kind of play around with Fant a little bit, put him next to Becton and have a ridiculously powerful left side. But,
This is a hot take. This is a bold take right here. Holy Christ. We're really Hey, man.
I guess everyone's drinking tonight.
Get that with that $9 million, I guess. Do you think the Austin muster up anything? Yeah, that's the one concern that we have with all of this is the offensive line being in sync right off the bat, not getting Sam hurt, the running game not going backwards. That's your concern. Like I keep saying, if you can weather the storm to the second quarter, dude, just get through it. And keep the line call simple. Don't make it where you had last year where they're pointing at each other and looking at each other, don't know what the fuck was going on. And that was, I'm not going to go through that whole Frank Pollock thing again, but it was so weird that happened, that they didn't make any adjustments. He didn't get fired. But now it's like, simplify it. Like, you don't have crowd noise so you can hear each other. There shouldn't be all these blown assignments in theory.
Yeah. And I just hate that we even have to talk about the idea of Sam putting the team on his back at this stage in his career, because no other young quarterback is being asked to put their team on their back like Sam is. Everybody else has talent around them, good coaches, offensive coaches, and we're asking Sam to do so much with so little around him, and that's what bothers me.
So what we'll do is we talked a lot about this, the breakup, the matchups, everything else. Let's see some predictions. Let's get some predictions here to see what you guys think the score is for this game on Sunday. What's his point spread? Primetime 6?
6.5. 6.5.
So in terms of, we'll go with the betting first. So thank you, TJ. We'll get a little plug here. Look at this comment. Thank you, TJ.
Appreciate it, TJ.
And now we go from that to this. Perfect. We've come full circle now.
I truly don't get why the Bills fans hate on us. Like, we don't talk shit about them. Like, we never say anything bad about them. We acknowledge Allen's been better than what we expected as a rookie. We said they set him up well. We like their coach.
So
I hope we win.
So from a betting perspective, what bets are you looking at this weekend for the Jets? Anything?
Well, like I said, if you bet on Crowder over 4.5 receptions, I feel like that one's a lock. It's minus 159 right now. So again, if you're struggling with money like me, bet $1.59 to win $1. 22 catches in 2 games last year against Buffalo, so I feel like he's just going to obliterate that number, especially with Mims out. I already mentioned Sam Darnold, 224 yards. I think that's going to be an under just because I think they're going to try and feature the ground game. Le'Veon Bell, 57.5 yards. I love the over on that one. And then I think Le'Veon Bell is going to find his way into the end zone. So if you're looking for some plus odds at plus 140, I feel like that's a positive bet. And then just, with the spread, 6.5, dude, I don't know, man. I'm probably staying away from that one. I don't think I'm going to bet that at all. Like I said, a few weeks ago, I thought Buffalo was probably going to blow them out. As we're getting a little bit closer now, I feel like this could be a more competitive game, especially with the weather report if things get a little sloppy. But that's probably what I'm going to stay away from.
All right, we got a bunch of predictions coming fired in here. So share what you think, player of the game, what has to happen. 31-17, man. The Jets scored 31 points. I'm going to be shocked off my ass if that happens. That would be fascinating.
The over-under on Jets points is 16.5, just FYI.
So let's see. A Bills fan predicted the Bills to win. There's a shocker. Okay. That's can't argue with that one. 24. Yeah, that's the problem you have. I mean, it's tough. Like we get it all the time on our Twitter account. What do you think? What do you think? It's like, dude, it's so hard to say the Jets are going to get their asses kicked. We may say whatever we want right now. Sure as shit, come 1 o'clock Sunday, we're all like, all right, we're gonna find a way. We're gonna do this. Like you buy in. Like it just like that. It just changes. So
every game, every year.
Yep, no doubt. Let's see. We got more Bills fans coming to join the party. That's fair. I mean, but how would you handle that primetime if they play a very hard fought game and Sam plays well and you saw some glimmer of hope? Do you walk away angry out of that? You're like, all right, week 1, a lot of change. There's some progress here.
Probably not, depending on how they lose it. Like, if they do something stupid in the fourth quarter, where they blow it, if they're up like 13-10 and then they blow it in the fourth quarter, something like that would piss me off a little bit. But, overall, if Sam plays well and, you lose a close game, I'm not going to overreact to that.
Okay. Another high scoring for the Jets, 26 points. For some reason, man, I just don't see them. I mean, I've been wrong so many times, and everybody reminds me. That's a lot of points, I think, for the Jets. Yep. I'm kind of in the –
like I said last night, I think it's going to be a race to 20. Whichever team gets to 20 first, that's probably going to be the winner.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Buffalo's a good team. They're right now, on paper, they're the favorite to win the division. Nobody knows what the Patriots are, Cam Newton. The Miami Dolphins are all about Ryan Fitzpatrick. We know how he is in year 2 when he's down there, so he'll probably destroy that fucking team.
Yep.
They got talent too, but listen, division's up for grabs. I mean, I think Buffalo
up for grabs.
I mean, it's up right now. If you're saying, listen, we have everybody's going for the same thing. Buffalo has a lot to prove, but they're in theory the best team in the division.
Yeah, I don't think it's up for grabs. I mean, I don't see who's competing with Buffalo at this point. Hate to say it.
Josh Allen isn't good. Bet the spread. That's no arguments here, man. The injury thing is truly bothersome. The one that you worry about, there's 2 you worry about on Sunday. Is Perriman, how healthy is he really? Are they kind of hiding anything? Is he going to run 5 routes and have a swollen knee and come out? And then Marcus May, what is he? Alex Lewis is now banged up. The last thing you want is an injury on the offensive line. So it's not ideal. And I don't understand how this fucking team gets so many goddamn injuries. The Williamson one's actually big too, man, because you're losing depth there now. That's your quality backup middle linebacker. Now you got to probably bring in Ogletree, I guess. So it's oof. Damn. That'd be a painful way to start the season.
That would be a painful post-game show.
Okay. More betting advice.
I hope so. I hope we can put up 17 points, but I like that one. That's the comment of the night. I like that one.
All right, 21. What's the one dimension? You're going to make them one-dimensional what? Throwing the ball? Stop the run, make them throw the ball? Do we really want that? You want to throw the ball? Really?
I do. Well, that's a great comment because I think Allen, he can turn the ball over a little bit. He's prone to be a little bit inaccurate. He can make some mistakes. Like he's better than we think he is, but oh god.
Hey, listen, I'm just showing the comments, man. I'm still learning the software here. Oh my
the Bills. I like it.
Oh my goodness, this is just so funny.
I can't wait till Sunday.
This is gonna be crazy. Win or lose, if Sam plays solid to a point, I would say yes. But if you lose in a fashion where there's meltdowns everywhere, lack of communication, that the game plan makes no sense, then you get concerned. Like you want to see an overall quality team effort on both sides of the ball. You want to see guys like Bell used correctly, Herndon, Crowder, everything else. So this game comes down to Adam. I mean, possibly.
I think this season kind of comes down to Adam Gase. As we, get towards the end of the year and you actually had a chance to get the offensive line in sync and, Sam Darnold, he's progressing in year 2. Like there should be certain milestones that we hit, certain progress that we see. It shouldn't be baby steps at this point because you've had enough time to bring in your own guys. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like the end of the year should be an evaluation of Gase as far as whether or not he should stay or not. But just this one game, I mean, I don't know. Yes. I have zero doubts about Sam. I mean, I really don't. I loved him prior to the draft, and I think we've seen enough flashes at this point to feel confident that he's the guy. You got to surround him with the right pieces, get him a coach. Hopefully it's Gase. I'm not hating on Gase. I hope it's him. But if it's not, you can't be afraid to move on and get him somebody that can really elevate him.
All right, let's see what we got here. Some of this shit's funny as hell, man. My goodness. Oh, my God.
So, oh. Well, let me answer that one because we took the road trip to Buffalo for the week 1 opener about 3 years ago, and we went out to, what was the place, Duffy's, I think? That's like the main wing spot. It wasn't much different than like wings I would get at like Buffalo Wild Wings. So I'm going to go New York pizza.
I'm going to go New Jersey pizza. I can give a shit about New York pizza.
There you go.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on, man. Oh, we can't give this. Oh, we got celebrity apparently. I'm famous in these jet streams. All right. Well, welcome aboard then. I guess we're happy to have you. I guess we're making some progress. Fun fact. 7 turnovers in 2 games. Wouldn't mind some more. Now we got some confident Jet fans now. Now that the alcohol's definitely kicking in, dude. Jet's about to blow out the Bills.
Dude, right. I'd love to come on here at 5:00 after that happens.
A wide right reference. Here you go. Now our humor is definitely kicking in.
Raffy's just trolling the shit out of the Bill fans on here.
We'll do a couple more here. Let's see. Oh, I mean that's definitely a concern. That's something that we
can't argue that.
Nope. And that's something that you worry about, going into the season. That's been his, I give Gase credit to admitting how bad they were last year, and that's fine. You admitted to it, you owned it. Now change it. Like the words don't mean shit this entire offseason. Now you got to show it on the field now, and he's got to prove us wrong with that. So there you go. You got exactly what you said, Kev. So that's
yeah. I mean, I can handle if we lose, because Diggs is beating us and Allen makes throws, but I think you got to force him to do that.
So, yeah, I guess they say there's no playoff mandate. I don't agree with this at all. I think the Jets can win 6 or 7 games. He comes back as long as Sam plays well.
I do because I heard some information off the record that I can't say.
Well, all right then. All right.
If this is a bad year, Gase will be gone. Just feel confident in that.
Here's your some advice for your wings.
Duffy sucks, huh? I agree.
Darryl Loggins, all he is the challenge guy. He doesn't do anything.
He's what's his name? The defensive coordinator under Bowles. Why am I drawing a blank on that guy?
What's that?
Who is the defensive coordinator of Bowles? I'm drawing a blank.
Casey Rogers.
Yes, that's the same thing that Darryl Loggins is. Glorified puppet.
Are you guys using I have no idea what the hell we're using. So I am not technically savvy, so we have no idea what we're using. That's why we're probably a little bit behind other podcasts. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. So
I'll just say, give it a few days before every other podcast is using this platform now.
Yeah, of course. We're just set the trend like we always do. Is Mims going on the IR? I would. Yeah.
I mean, if you heard Gase today, it seems like it's a possibility. And yeah, I mean, you don't want to rush him back now that it's another hamstring injury. I mean, get him back at some point this year healthy. Don't rush him back.
Bills fan for life. We're not calling them a playoff team, but we are saying that.
Not arguing.
We're not arguing that, but if you find a way to sneak into 8-8, that could get you in. That's all I'm saying. If you were the OC, how would you beat the Bills? And Ryan, how you beat up being the Bills? How you beat up being the Bills? I mean, to me, we've talked about this for a while now. It's, you use a short passing game to offset the blitz and run the ball. And then when you get a chance for that play action pass down the field, that's what you do. I mean, I get Le'Veon Bell involved any way humanly possible. You get Herndon involved. Hopefully you can handle the workload. Crowder, obviously, and take some shots deep to Hogan and Perryman. I mean, this game plan is pretty obvious to me. Like, they can't take too many chances because the offensive line has to get developed. Like, there's so much uncertainty. If they establish in the first 2 quarters that the offensive line can hold their own and you can do different things, you open a playbook up. But if things are falling to shit in the first 15, 20 minutes, you can't risk Sam Darnold getting hurt week 1, dude. Like, you got to be smart here and know when to say, okay, listen, this shit isn't working. Let's reel it in a little bit. Let's just hold the fort for a while. You know what I mean? Right? I mean, that's
yeah, and you've had enough time to prepare for this game too. So, I mean, you should have a certain number of plays that you feel confident in that, all right, this is what I'm going to go to when I want to take a chance. This is what we're going to go to when we need to ground and pound. Like, you should have your game plan together at this point. So I agree.
Let's see. We got here. O.J. Simpson reference. Jesus Christ. Kev says he got insider. He can't give up his information, man. He'll lose his sources.
Yeah. I wish this was something I could say, but yeah, just feel confident that if this year goes south, that like really south, that Gase is probably not going to be back. Just feel confident about that.
You know who else hasn't seen Herndon in years? We haven't. So that's unfortunately. Let's see. No Tyrone tonight. Listen, this is our first night trying to figure out this stream. So we'll get Tyrone on. We'll try to do some fun things. Kevin is usually the brilliant behind everything. I'm the technical moron. So I had to figure all this stuff out. So Tyrone will be on.
I'm shocked that you're even able to do this. I mean,
dude, it's not easy. I'm sitting.
This is progress for you. This is good.
Sweating bullets over here. Yep. We know the injury report. It's so let's see. Well, Darnold's not going nowhere. I'm not buying that at all. Primetime's getting ripped now.
Dude, I wish I could say.
Nope, don't say nothing. We're good.
Oh, God. Everybody's
excited about Ashton Davis. I mean, because of hype. There's so much hype around him, man. I don't remember such a lower round pick that has this kind of like hype around him. It's crazy.
Well, because look at who he's replacing. I know you're not saying he's directly replacing Adams, but like we're all hoping that, because we drafted a safety, he's going to be what the last safety was that we drafted. And, I feel like we're putting too much expectations on him. Whereas, a rookie, to expect all that, it's going to take some time. I like him long term. I do like him long term, though.
The really good thing is to have 2 guys with a lot of range like May and Davis. That plays well in this kind of NFL right now. It's definitely exciting to see. Especially has really good ball skills too. So we'll see. I mean, the only problem with that is that you live and die with the blitz, and they have playmakers that you let Diggs and these guys run free, they're gonna be scoring touchdowns.
But you know what? If Allen makes those throws, you tip your cap, and that's how I would prefer to go down. So
here comes Shaq with more nonsense. And now we have people making friends with Kevin again. So we got we got a drama playing out in front of us right now. Let's see. Prime times to get drunk and spill the beans.
Dude, I'm already starting to slur my words. I'm like 3 Trulies down, so didn't even eat my dinner yet.
So we got here. Steven stopped drinking. So I guess prime time. We'll start, I guess, slowly trying to wrap things up here a little bit, and give our previews, our predictions at this point. First of all, we want to thank everybody that's been tuning in. This is our first time Sunday, 1 hour after the game, once all the press conferences are done. We'll be back on here and we'll be recapping this game and doing all this chaos. I guess give your prediction, man. How do you think this all plays out?
So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a sloppy game. Hopefully we're able to control the clock with some ground and pound, feature Le'Veon Bell, get him the touches that he needs. I do think it's going to be a close game in the fourth quarter in spite of what I thought a few weeks ago, but I'm going Buffalo. I think it's going to be 19-16, something like that. Close game in the fourth quarter where we just don't pull it out.
I'm kind of in the same boat. These comments, man. You can get the only problem with doing this format is I could see all the comments just firing up. You're easily distracted, dude. It's just hysterical.
This is so much better than Block Talk. I love this.
It's so much better. This is just great. I think the same thing. I think it's going to be. I'm worried about being a very ugly game on the Jets' behalf. Just sloppy miscommunication. Just guys not on the same page. But I also think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be just it's just for some reason I just don't think the Bills are going to be as good as everybody thinks they are week one. The Jets aren't going to be as bad as everybody thinks they are week one. It's going to be one of those kind of real ugly close games. So I'm going to say I want to put the Jets like in a shocker, but I just can't do it. I'm going to say 17-14 Bills, but I think the game's going to be close. I really do. I think you're going to get a valiant effort. I'm worried about a variety of things, but I think there's so much uncertainty and so many unknowns. I think the game's going to be close. And as the season plays out, everybody gets some more like in their game shape and more their playbooks more open. I think the results are going to be a lot different. I think this game is going to be close, dude. So we'll see what happens. Doug Pryor said, Jesus Christ. But I mean, we've both been wrong. I mean, in terms of the spread, though, I find that 6.5 points. That's a tempting one for me for some reason.
Yeah, I'm avoiding that just because it's a one-score game essentially. I mean, so anything can happen at that point. So, and the Bills are just flat out the better team in my opinion, and I think the Jets
more continuity.
Yeah, yep. I think the Jets need to have a lot of things go right in order to keep it close. So. Well,
that was the one thing we were asked. Like we do at Talk Jets Radio on Twitter, and so we're like, well, what about this? I'm like, listen, the Jets go into this game with like 5 ifs. If all 5 of these ifs actually happen, like if May plays great, if Bell does this, if Sam, like all these ifs, then they win. The Bills, a lot of those things we already know. Like we know they have a great receiving group. They have a very good defense with an elite pass rusher and an elite corner. Like we know what they are. We don't know what we are. So that's the difference in the game. That's why I think the Bills are going to win it because of all our knowns. And trust me, I want to be fucking wrong so bad. Like I want to be on at 5 o'clock saying, "Holy shit, we won! We're better than we." Like you want to do that, but
we'll nothing that I want more than that, man. I would love to be on here at 5 o'clock talking about a victory, but I don't know.
So I guess what we'll do is we'll wrap things up. We want to thank everybody for joining us. It's our first time using this platform. We had a great time. We appreciate it. Feedback is always welcome. Hit us up on Instagram or Twitter at Talk Jets Radio, or leave comments on this if you want. I don't know. We'll load that. I guess we can do that. I have no idea how this downloads and shit, so I got to figure that out next. We appreciate it. Prime time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you on Sunday.
Yep. Good time, man. Talk to you guys later.
Hey, guys.